Justin FREAKIN, the formidable voice of culture.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. Freaking Tuesday. I had to think about it for a second. Again. Oof. What's up, bitches? I got a fun show tonight. This shit is going to be entertaining. We're going to watch like 25 minutes of Tim Pool. So I don't want to have to do this, but I think, like, didn't we talk about the Tim Pool appearance? I just came on Voodoo. Good evening. Oh, Twitch didn't give you a notification? Did I fuck something up with the notifications when I was having internet issues? Maybe. I don't know. I'll need to check that. Good evening, Voodoo. And like, I got to read your message, but I didn't have time to respond on the Discord. Here's the thing, like, I'm with you. While I want to get bigger and make this, you know, my full-time job to where I can just bring you guys the news anytime. I can come on in the afternoon and just, you know, sit and watch the Senate for hours. I will miss the size of the community as it is now. Like, you guys are awesome. And I like being able to talk to everyone individually. I like being able to respond to everything. But also, I want money. Not gonna lie, I need money. Getting all capitalist in here. Go buy something from a store. Makes a good Christmas gift. Oh shit, I'm not high enough for this shit. It is a delicate balance. Sassy, good evening. And I like that, like, I've gotten to know you guys. And that's fucking awesome. And that's not, you know, the level I need to be at in order to sustain myself, which would be like averaging 200 viewers across YouTube and Twitch, I believe, is the number I'm aiming for. That will be sustaining to me. It'll be a lot harder to have the connection with you guys that I've had thus far. This last year, when like people actually started watching, over this last year when people started watching, we've grown. Like I've really enjoyed this. No, Sassy. And like, it's gonna take a lot for me to actually get a real job. No, I'm talking about making this a real job. Warlord was kind of on to me to broadcast the Senate passing the Respect of Marriage Act earlier today, and I'm just like, I don't have that kind of time at the moment. And I'm sorry, when I went back and clipped the show last night, and you might have seen me fooling with my board at the beginning of the show. I'm like, my fucking levels are off. My mic was fucked up last night. That's the problem, is I don't want to do motion graphics for other people anymore. I want to do it for myself. I just want to concentrate on doing my shit all the time, as opposed to doing other people's shit. And I'm still fucking with my board now. I want to get to the point where I'm doing my own shit. And I have, like, I pitched the you know, I've got the podcast idea with Media Winch. I've got a couple other ideas that aren't all politics and news. Politics and news is my bread and butter, but I do other things as well. But having other products and the freaking news, that's all strategic on my part to try to get a broader audience than is just, you know, people watching political streams. What was my freaking news today? Oh yeah. This is hilarious. So, a woman was found after being missing for 51 years. I used a Kathy Mattea song. Like, Where Have You Been, I think was the name of the song. Kathy Mattea is not big enough for YouTube to even have a hashtag for her. Poor Kathy Mattea. Also, I think I'm finding that, like, I need to use more popular songs because, like, video didn't get that much, didn't get that much play on the YouTube, and it could be because I used a Kathy Mattea song. People are like, Kathy who? Oh, shit. Speaking of famous artists, The reason Elon Musk fanboys haven't heard of Trent Reznor is because he makes music that women like to have sex to. Which is true, by the way. I don't get it. I'm not the biggest Nine Inch Nails fan. I've seen them live, and they won me over after I saw them in concert. I'm like, all right, I like them a lot better now. But women absolutely love to fuck to some Nine Inch Nails. That has been a proven fact to me all throughout my adult life. I had a girl when I was in college, like they dropped one of their last, they haven't dropped that many albums in the last little bit. But my girlfriend at the time, she's like, oh my God, that song is so hot. And I'm like, really? This song turns you on? Okay. Oh, we're going to be talking about Elon Musk tonight. Unfortunately, I've been putting it off for days. We're going to talk about him attacking. Exactly. If she's having a good time, I'm having a good time. And she is the girlfriend that convinced me to go to the Nine Inch Nails concert. And the song Sanctified, that was her favorite. I'm amazed Elon Musk fans even pretend to have opinions about women. Oh shit. So Elon Musk, man, attacking advertisers on the Twitter. What else? There's a reason I wanted to talk about Elon Musk. What was it? Oh yes, Twitter staff are calling the reinstatement, the amnesty for suspended accounts that is apparently coming. They're calling it the Big Bang. Now here's the cool part. Justin has his suspended account he can pull up right now. I have not checked today. Elon, have you given me my real Twitter back? Nope, wrong Twitter. That's my fake Twitter. My temporary Twitter until he gives me real me back. Now my question is, I haven't had my real Twitter since 2019. My account is still suspended. I'm not allowed to perform this action. Do I get all my followers and shit back? I'm still suspended, but this is new. I was not seeing a timeline before. It was just the suspended message, so maybe something is brewing. But apparently the Big Bang is coming, and as I understand it, I read through it last night how this is going to work. They're apparently focused on people who actually have followers, not me, who that Twitter may have had 500 followers. So, I guess I'm way down on the list. Elon is fucking full of himself. Elon believes the hype. Man, I saw a page, and I like the page on Facebook too. They had a meme, like how they saw Elon in 2016, and it was a picture of Tony Stark, and then how they saw Elon in 2022. It was from Winnie the Pooh. Was it like Eeyore trying to put something together and like his tail's on top of his head or something and he doesn't know what he's doing? And I'm like, if you didn't always see Elon as that, then you're an idiot. It has always been glaringly obvious that Elon is a fucking idiot and a fraud. I won't begrudge you though. It's easy to fall for scammers. And Elon is indeed a grifter. We're gonna watch I got a few different things here, and we'll see what we actually go with. I don't know if we're gonna watch Sauger and Crystal talk about it. I watched Sauger talk about how he lost a bunch of money in crypto, and I laughed my ass off at that one. So I may have had my fill of Sauger today, but I've got other clips like The View. The View talking about, I don't even know how to say this word, Balenciaga. I'm a poor boy from Appalachia. I don't have any idea about your bougie brands. But right-wingers are all up in arms about this brand I'd never even heard of. Now, I think I did play a video. I think I played the ad that they were upset about last week on the show. And it was the teddy bear that had like, it was like just had leather, suspenders. That's what it looked like. But he wasn't wearing anything. Like, it's a teddy bear. So it had like leather suspenders on or something and like a little belt around its waist. And right-wingers are calling it a bondage outfit. Oh, and now I am convinced that a lot of brands are using what I call outrage marketing, where they specifically try to do something to outrage conservatives. Whether Balenciaga was doing this on purpose or not, I don't fucking know, because I'd never even heard of the brand. But right-wingers are losing their fucking minds over it. Including to the point where I have a rap song from our good friend Bryson Gray, the MAGA rapper that came on the show just a few weeks back. He got so upset about Balenciaga that he burnt his shoes he had from that's the weird thing to me. I had never heard of this brand, but apparently there's some leftist woke company. But he had a pair of like overpriced sneakers from there that we're gonna see him burn in this music video he's pumping out. The Respect of Marriage Act passed the Senate earlier today. We're going to hear why Lindsey Graham was opposed. You would think, knowing what we know about Lindsey Graham, he wouldn't be opposed, right? But apparently he never wants to marry his lover. A Congress person, I brought this up when we were talking about control of the House. More people have died in the last 2 years in the last session of Congress. More Congress people have died in the last 2 years than the swing in control of the Congress. So like it's a 5-seat margin, 6-seat margin right now, and more Congress people than that have died in the last 2 years. So control of Congress could swing during the session. United States Representative Donald Meechin has passed away. Now, this is a Democratic representative. Each state has different laws and rules on how they assign replacements. Some states do special sessions. Some states do appointments. But, like, this is going to be something interesting to watch with this razor-thin margin in Congress, of whether enough people die during the session to possibly swing control. Herschel Walker gave an interview a couple of years back, I believe it was, landing him in some hot water right now. Authorities are urging a probe into Walker for not actually being from Georgia. Also, Warnock dropping a fantastic new ad where voters are reacting to different revelations about Herschel Walker. We're going to get an update on the rail strike. Now, a lot of people are framing this, and this is why I didn't want to... Several people in the chat last night brought it up, but I didn't want to talk about it until, like, I knew what was going on. I had an idea, and so a lot of people are framing this as Biden turning on the workers. As I understand it, that's not necessarily true. That Congress, he is asking Congress to impose a deal. Congress can choose to impose the current deal that was on the table that the unions have clearly rejected, but Congress, I believe, could also impose a better deal. They could give the workers the time off that they have asked for. And if that is the case, which I do believe it is, maybe we need to start a phone campaign between now and December 9th. That is the end of the cooling off period. We'll get into that. We'll really break down what is going on with the possible railroad strike. Company fired almost 3,000 of its workers as they were sleeping right before Thanksgiving. Can't do that shit when you got a union. Just pointing that out. We're going to talk about how the possible merger between Kroger and Albertson could be bad for consumers. Consumer confidence in the last quarter has fallen. That is an ominous sign leading into the holiday shopping season. Surprise, surprise. We have a new report that says that the United States is profiting off of the war in Ukraine. That should come as a shock to no one. The Supreme Court of the United States seems conflicted about the Biden deportation policy. Stuart Rhodes not conflicted, but convicted. Head of the Oath Keepers and one other found guilty of sedition. I do believe this is the first time ever in the history of the country that someone has been found guilty of sedition. Seditious conspiracy, I think, was the exact charge, but we'll get the full story here in a little bit. And once again, this is just me off the top of my head. I do believe it's the first time someone has been found guilty of seditious conspiracy. A 15-year-old boy has been arrested after he was found sleeping with an AR-15 style rifle. It was apparently loaded. So possibly the parents, the law enforcement, could have prevented it from being another day in mass shooting USA. Strange bedfellow. I like to cuddle with my cats. Happiness is a worry. I believe that's a Harrison song, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. Is that a Lennon song? Perhaps both of them had credit on it. Lenny, good evening. Sassy, did I tell you good evening? I'm so glad to see you. Mox, good evening. Signs are pointing towards a global recession. Voodoo, reverse thread. Evening, my friends. So glad to see all of you. Such a pleasure. Nine Tails. Tones. So many people snuck in here. Warlord. Bondage gear on the teddies. I would love to tell you good evening again. The Tory version. I'm not sure exactly what you guys are talking. Oh, happiness is a warm gun. Did Tori Amos do a version of that? Yeah, in case you guys didn't know, I was looking at my notes and wasn't paying any attention to chat. I was trying to catch up there. Trying to catch up to what was going on. It's like, oh, he is not being distracted by what's going on in chat. That is unusual. The story we've been following for, what, like 2 weeks now. It's been about 2 weeks since this happened. 4 college students in Idaho stabbed to death. There is indication it might have been an incel. A man who was in a Nashville hospital is now dead after catching fire. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't know. I haven't read the story yet. No idea. No idea. Investigation is underway after officials stumbled upon a rap video recorded in their prison. And I've got the video. We're going to watch the video. Apparently, Nick Fuentes and Milo are saying that they were actually trolling Trump. This was a setup to get him in hot water. Interesting. We're going to read that story, and then we're going to watch Kanye, Fuentes, Milo. I believe all three of them were on with Tim Pool. We discussed this a little bit last night, but apparently Kanye stormed out, so I'm really interested in watching it since he threw a hissy fit and walked out about 20 minutes into the interview. We're going to watch the whole fucking 20 minutes and watch him walk out. I'm a glutton for punishment. Plus, I'm going to give you an update on Jay Leno. Jay Leno, fresh out of the hospital after suffering burns, returned to the stage last night and hit 2 cop cars on his way to the club. I've seen a lot of people cover the story. Very few of them actually mention him. He apparently didn't do much damage to them. He just grazed them. But very few of them mentioning that he hit 2 cop cars on his way to the club. Oh shit! And I read a couple of his jokes. Sounds like he had some bangers. Server McGritty, good evening. Is Ye to the right of Shapiro Fuente? I just think Ye is crazy. I just think Ye is sassy. Was it really spontaneous combustion? No fucking way. I just assumed something happened to the medical when he had some oxygen in his room or some shit. This is going to be an interesting story. I can't wait till we get down to that one. We got a long way to go. Oh, you were just taking a guess. Okay. We got a long way to go before we get to that story. Well, I think he was already in the hospital. Once again, I don't know the details. But all that and more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Let me hit this bowl, and then we find out what that news be doing. No, Sky Comet, you are right on time. All I did was talk about the shit we're going to talk about tonight, which is a lot. Tell me, what other news show is covering that many topics? I was watching Saga and Crystal earlier, and they've got like 4 topics that they cover in a show. Not letting me pay attention to. Well, I haven't been paying attention to the chat, so. A lot of Curiouser comes in here specific, and she probably heard me. She's often, she comes in here specifically to try to distract me. Oh, programming note. This Friday, the Friday Night Freak Show returns after my little mini vacation. I don't have a promo for it because I just booked it. Woke Potato, special guest host this Friday on the Friday Night Freak Show. Woke Potato. Woke Potato. I love the name. I like saying Woke Potato. Not Dan Bedondi. I know a lot of you hear the word potato, you think about bionic Dan Bedondi. Mox, are you calling Ninetales a dumbass? Now come on. I love Ninetales, and she is far from a dumbass. When she was special guest host of the Friday Night Freak Show, whoop. A lot of that shit went right over my head. But sometimes that's a good thing, and if a layman has questions about a complex topic, that's good for the audience. Because if I got the question, chances are the audience does as well. So sometimes it is good to not know what a fucking person is talking about. Oh, randos. The new strategy is just to let the dumbasses embarrass themselves. Well, like, okay, because once again, I'm telling you guys, like, I'm trying to strike a balance between me, like, it's like Sam Cedar and libertarians, right? Like, a good dose of it is fun. It's all good, but would somebody just watch a show that was nothing but libertarians calling into Sam Cedar? I would. But like apparently a lot of the audience and the entire staff of the show wouldn't. So yeah, thank you for trying to help balance that for me, because 70-80% of the show should probably be news content and not just me yelling at people. But me personally, like, I would just like to yell at dumbasses the whole time. I would do a whole show of just yelling at dumbasses, and apparently you can do that. You can go be on panels and shit. Which is still something I need to do. My ass, if I DM on more often, I can't. I would like to find smarter people than DM. I would like to find smarter dumbasses than DM. I would like to find smarter dumbasses than DM. All right. What that news be doing though? That's my new catchphrase. And I think it works. Like, it's in the description of the Twitch, and it's also something you guys can say to get me back on topic. You guys be like, "Oh, what that news be doing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's time to find out what that news be doing over here." Oh. The Senate passes the same-sex marriage protections. The bill now heads to the House, where Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said the chamber will take it up as soon as next week. The Senate passed legislation on Tuesday to enshrine same-sex marriage protections into federal law, bringing the bill a critical step closer to President Joe Biden's desk. Senators spent months negotiating, adding language to the bill related to religious liberty, a bid to attract the necessary 10 GOP votes to break a filibuster. Legislation still needs to clear the House, a likely easy lift since a previous version was approved by nearly 50 House Republicans and all Democrats. A total of 12 Republicans voted with all Democrats in support of the bill. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer indicated Tuesday that the House would take up the Senate version as soon as next week. Legislation led by Tammy Baldwin, Susan Collins, Rob Portman, Kyrsten Sinema, and Tom Tillis would ensure, and it was a bipartisan bill, would ensure that the federal government recognizes a same-sex marriage as well as interracial marriage, even if a couple moves to a state that doesn't do so. In addition, the bill would repeal the Defense of Marriage Act, which defined marriage as between a man and a woman, and passed the Senate by an overwhelming margin in 1996. For Thanksgiving, a total of 12 Senate Republicans supported advancing the legislation after negotiators included language in the bill that stated it would not impact provisions from a 1993 religious freedom law. That law prohibits the government from placing a substantial burden on an individual's right to religious liberty. The bill also clarifies that non-profit religious groups would not see their tax treatment change and would not have to perform marriage services. Those changes won the backing of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Although the Supreme Court guaranteed the right to same-sex marriage in 2015, proponents of the bill argue that the legislation will provide more certainty to same-sex and interracial couples. Democratic lawmakers were particularly keen to act after Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion in Dobbs questioned the court's previous rulings, including on same-sex marriage. Clarence Thomas, a man that is in an interracial marriage. Republican opponents to the legislation argue that it's unnecessary given that there's no case challenging the 2015 ruling. Speaking of Republicans who were against it, let's hear from Lindsey Graham, a man that is almost certainly a closeted homosexual. Allegedly. I may be in the wrong browser. It may not play it. CNN doesn't play on one of the browsers. I can't remember which one it is. Oh, shit. Hold on a second. We'll hear from Lindsey Graham here in just a second. As soon as I get a browser that'll play the CNN. I can mock his accent because I, myself, am from the South. Lindsey Graham on CNN talking about his opposition to the Respect Marriage Act. Clinically, good evening.
Issue that is before the Senate is gay marriage. At least that is what Rob Portman wants. He's trying to get enough votes to codify same-sex marriage because Justice Clarence Thomas suggested that it might be in jeopardy. You said 2 weeks ago that's the state-by-state.
How long is a piece of string,
so I just want to
Voodoo?
be clear about your position. Are you saying
Too goddamn long.
2015 Supreme Court decision that made same-sex marriage the law of the land nationally should be overturned?
No, I am saying that I don't think it's going to be overturned.
Nor should it be?
Well, you know, that'd be up to the court. The reasoning, I think, could be attacked, but the point I'm trying to make is I've been consistent. I think states should decide the issue of marriage and states should decide the issue of abortion. I have respect for South Carolina. South Carolina voters here, I trust to define marriage and to deal with the issue of abortion, not 9 people on the court. That's my view.
How far down should, I mean, how wide should that go? How many more issues should that
Well,
go
we're
to? For
talking
example, Loving versus Virginia, that allowed interracial marriage, that shouldn't be touched.
No.
Here's the point. We're talking about things that are not happening because you don't want to talk about inflation, you don't want to talk about crime. This is all politics, my friends. Instead of trying to solve problems like...
Honey, I've heard people in your party state that they want to come after these decisions.
The state of people having guns.
RB.
We're talking about constitutional decisions that are still in effect. But if you're going to ask me to have the federal government take over defining marriage, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Why does he look like he's been crying? My eyes look like that because I've been puffing Mad Chiba. And my eyes don't even look like that right now. What the fuck? Lindsay, what's up with you? There was something I wanted to do. I forgot. These things are indeed happening. Lindsay's just like, that's the Republican line right now. It's like, oh, it's not happening. Why are you guys talking about it? Nobody is talking about crime yet. That's all I hear that like they're bitching at TYT about. Can't believe you support interspecies marriage. God damn it. No, I specifically said don't fuck the dogs. Everybody on stream last night told me it was such a funny bit. I went ahead and clipped it. Now people on YouTube are like saying RB needs to be monitored. I said don't fuck the dogs. I specifically said don't fuck the goddamn dogs. It's on video. Y'all heard it. I'm sorry, RB. I love you, man.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I don't know. They need a dose of Justin FREAKIN. Okay, chicken fucker. Everybody write into TYT and say hire Justin FREAKIN. No, no, it is not one of those things where yes means no, up means down, Lord. Nope, nope, nope. You guys are too much. You guys are too much. We are all very saddened today about the passing of a man we all knew and loved. His name was, hold on. Donald Meacham. Man, this is horrible of me. Representative Donald Meacham of Virginia has passed away. I'm bringing this story up about a congressman I didn't even know the name of until yesterday, just because I want to make a point about the fact that control of Congress lies in 5 or 6 seats at this moment. There are more Congress people that died over the last 2 years than that. So with this razor-thin margin, it's possible that deaths in Congress could swing control back to the Democrats, give Republicans more control. Donald McEachin, I can't even say his name right. I don't know. This is a local news hit. He was a Democrat from Virginia, and he passed away yesterday.
Thank you so much. We're going to check back with her for more details on that crash. Well, this morning, Virginia is mourning the loss of a longtime public servant and beloved leader. U.S. Representative Donald McEachin lost his decade-long battle with cancer.
Fucking even he didn't know how to say his name.
Kelly Avellino is at the Capitol here this morning. Kelly, how is the representative being remembered here today?
Anthony, there are so many broken hearts this morning. Congressman Donald McEachin was just elected to his 4th term in the House of Representatives. Sadly,
I just told you guys to badger the Young Turks to hire me right before I did a story where I laughed at a congressperson dying. That's the kind of integrity they need on TYT.
last night, word came from his office that he had succumbed to colorectal cancer, a battle he had faced for many years.
He had the ass
now.
cancer.
The statement read in part, "We are all devastated at the passing of our boss and friend, Congressman Donald McEachin. The people of Virginia's 4th Congressional District lost a hero who always, always fought for them and put them first." McEachin's political career began in the mid-1990s. He served in the House of Delegates and would eventually win a state Senate seat, and in 2016 head to Capitol Hill. Tributes have been flooding in since last night. Governor Youngkin tweeting out, "He is a valiant fighter until the end," saying that he admirably served Virginia and worked tirelessly to improve the lives of his constituents and Americans. Senator Tim Kaine also releasing a statement saying that he met Donald McEachin in 1985. "We became fast friends, a gentle giant, a compassionate champion for underdogs, a climate warrior, a Christian example, an understanding dad, a proud husband, and a loyal brother." Donald McEachin's wife.
So unfortunately, Donald McEachin passed away from cancer of the butthole.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite.
So I guess, according to this pastor, we know exactly how McEachin came to have the cancer of the butthole.
Cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
So that was Pastor Manning's eulogy to deceased Virginia Congressperson Donald McEachin. One more time, Pastor Manning.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole.
So, Donald McEachin, dead November 28th, 2022, cancer in the butthole.
Wife, Richmond Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachin, and the rest of his family are requesting privacy right now. A special election to fill McEachin's seat will be scheduled by Governor Youngkin. In the meantime, his office will remain open until another representative has been elected. We will certainly keep you updated on memorial service plans and tributes as they continue to matriculate. On your side, I'm Kelly Avellino for NBC 12.
All right, Kelly. Thank you.
I'm horrible. That entire story was journalistic malpractice. I call myself a newsman. I'm gonna clip it and put it on YouTube. From control of the House to control of the Senate, we have one Senate race left. Yes, seriously, colon cancer is a big deal. I encouraged everyone to go get their what's it called? I just did this the other day. I told everyone to go get their prostate exam. As long as they're up there in your butthole, have them check that out as well. Make sure your colonoscopy. There we go. As long as they're up there, make them check out your butthole for cancer as well. As long as they're sticking fingers up there. Oh yeah, that is right. I've had friends tell me about watching it. Speaking of butthole cancer, Herschel Walker, who would be a cancer in the butthole of America if he was elected, apparently lives in Texas. Georgia authorities are urged to probe Herschel Walker's Texas tax break. State investigators are being urged to probe whether Republican Senate hopeful Herschel Walker violated the law by receiving a tax break on his Texas home meant for primary residents of that state, even as he runs for federal office in Georgia. The complaint filed on Sunday by Ann Gregory Roberts asked the Attorney General's office and Georgia Bureau of Investigation to promptly investigate this apparent violation of Georgia law ahead of the December 6th runoff against U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock. Tax records show the former football player is set to receive a homestead exemption worth about $1,500 for a $3 million home in the suburbs of Dallas that Walker listed as his primary residence. Walker's campaign has declined requests for comment about the tax records, which were first reported by CNN. The documents show Walker has claimed the exemption since 2012. The records brought new scrutiny to questions Walker has faced about his residency that precede his decision to formally run for office. He faces Warnock in a runoff after neither candidate won a majority of the vote in the November midterm. Another carpetbagger. Dr. Oz, also a carpetbagger, didn't live in the state of Pennsylvania. These assholes love to break the law and call themselves the Law and Order Party. But a new ad from Raphael Warnock is showing voters reacting to revelations from Herschel Walker. This should be fun to watch.
Early voting underway in Georgia's Senate runoff. Voting began this weekend after the state's Supreme Court denied a Republican bid to block voting on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. As many as 22 of the state's
is just exasperated over it.
Let voters cast their ballots on Saturday. The runoff between Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker is next Tuesday, December 6th. Meanwhile, Senator Warnock is out with a new ad that shows voters just simply reacting.
That's a big week, guys. December 6th, that's that Tuesday is the runoff. 3 days later, that Friday, that's the end of the cooling off period on the union negotiation.
in real time to Herschel Walker's puzzling campaign speeches.
Just handed him the mic. Said, "Here you go, Herschel. Talk."
They just played the video for them and take a look.
Fair enough, Mox. You got me red-handed. This should be fun to watch. Immediately cuts to Morning Joe. Guilty. But the Morning Joe and Mika here, who, goddamn, they're constantly talking about, like, when they're laying in bed watching TV and shit. Oh, God, I hate them so much. But they are not the reason I was showing you this video. We're now cutting to the part of the video I actually wanted you to see.
You ever watch a stupid movie late at night hoping it's going to get better, don't get better, but you keep watching it anyway? Because the other night I was watching this movie. Called Freak Night or some type of night, but it was about vampires. I don't know if you know vampires are cool people.
Fuck you, god damn it. Fucking fuck. Fuckity fuck, goddamn motherfuckers.
About. Is he serious? Is he for real?
But I'm gonna tell you something that I found out. A werewolf can kill a vampire. Did you know that?
What is he talking about?
I never knew that, so I didn't want to be a vampire anymore. I want to be a werewolf.
Oh my gosh. He's talking about vampires and werewolves right now.
Y'all serious about this, right?
So I've been telling this little story about this bull out in the field with 6 cows.
Earth.
And 3 of them are pregnant.
There's no substance.
I got a YouTube strike for that video where he's talking about that bull for inciting violence. They overturned it, but I got a YouTube strike against that.
There's nothing.
So you know you got something going on.
It makes me want to laugh, and then it makes me think we're in trouble.
But all he is kept his nose against the fence, looking at 3 other cows that then belonged to him. Now all he had to do is eat grass.
This video is ridiculous. That's 35 seconds of my life I'll never get back.
Why would I want someone like that leading the state of Georgia?
Our good air decided to float over to China. Bad air.
Unbelievable.
So when China...
My God, if I had followed that dude, he's like, that's 35 seconds of my life I can't get back. I spend 3 or 4 hours nightly watching this stuff.
Getting our good air, their bad air gotta move.
It's all the same air.
Not only does it make no sense, I don't even understand
It's all the same air.
So it moves over to our good air spaces. And now we gotta clean that back up.
I sit and watch these on Twitter, and I'm like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Like, literally, what is he talking about?
He's completely unqualified for this really, really serious job.
No one's watching this and being like, oh man, that guy's got it together.
And sometimes, like,
That is where you are wrong, my friend. You are a rational human being that has some semblance of intelligence. The problem with your assessment is that most of the country, I don't think, is actually rational human beings with some semblance of intelligence.
read through the comments because I'm like, is anybody actually understanding, or are we just sitting here wasting time?
It is embarrassing.
No, he's speaking to his audience.
They just care about getting a yes man, somebody that'll just punch the button.
I think it's a risk to me and millions of Georgians to put this man in a position of power.
Let's call it what it is. This is embarrassing as hell.
At all. I mean, well, you know.
Oh
Wow.
my God. So 2 great lines out of
That's an
there.
impressive
It's
act.
First of all, Herschel's line. So you know something's going on there when he talks.
Oh, I'm just torturing you by leaving Morning Joe up.
But I love the one voter said.
Yucky.
I don't think.
So is there a new rule going forward? I have to hit the content warning for Morning Joe. Now every time I show Joe and Mika's faces, I have to hit the content warning. We'll snooze the ads and see if I can make it another 6 minutes and 37 seconds without dropping an F-bomb or something.
Come on, man.
We're like, just don't show them. Don't show them. See, I can't move the next set of stories. I can't break these up. So this was a perfect ending to go to before the commercial break. But you guys hit me with the no profanity. So now I have to BS for a little while to kill time. This is my final warning. I mean, I don't have any Walker. Oh, I got Dr. Oz. I was like, don't I have a Walker graphic? No, I made a Dr. Oz.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
It would be kind of ableist, but I mean, if he says something funny enough, I can put it on here. I really need the pastor talking about the cancer in the butthole. I need that as a drop.
In the butthole, God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the...
I haven't even put the preacher on the screen. Oh, for those of you who haven't seen this, this is what I was playing. This would have been back, how long ago was this? This was from a simpler time. This is probably the early 20-aughts. This is why people don't take me seriously.
In the butthole, God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet.
That's butthole cancer.
Butthole. Your butthole will be flaming, and you will not be able to sit down until you have a flame coming out of your butthole. And there'll be people walking around all over America with flames coming out of their butthole. And everyone who takes it up the rear, everyone who has a penis injected in his butthole, when that penis comes out,
you live in sexual anarchy.
Because ain't nobody gonna stick no penis in that flame. That flame will be an eternal flame coming out of the butthole.
Is this burning an eternal
pulls that penis out of you, a flame is going to come out, and nobody will ever stick a penis in your butthole again because it will.
I love Thai food.
You ain't seen nothing till you see the flame coming out of T.D. Jake's butt. I'm lightning.
Kenny Jake? Who's Kenny Jake?
Your butthole again because it will be on fire. You ain't seen nothing till you see the flame coming out of T.D. Jake's butt. I'm lightning bug. Got a flame coming out of his butt and all flames shooting out of their behinds. You're going to see the power of God. Flame of fire is going to come out their buttholes. We'll have a flame coming out of their butt. You women that have a flame coming out of your vagina. You're going to have a flame shooting out of your vagina. And amen.
Amen. So he does have some good advice there. Women, the penis needs to be cleaned off if it's been in a butthole before being inserted into your vagina. Or otherwise you will have a flame in your vagina. Always pee after sex. Tadpole, good evening. So when I was in college, I watched Ron Jeremy, who is now in prison. I do believe he's still in prison. He's been locked away for a long time. He's a rapist. Ron Jeremy did a debate with like a Christian preacher on campus. Like it was a touring show that they did. This would have been like 2011, 2012. And the only thing I remember about that event was Ron Jeremy saying, like, never go from the ass to the vagina. Always wipe off your dick after you've been in the ass. And that's good information. Trying to keep people away from the flaming dick syndrome.
Put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole.
Cannot sit down because of the cancer, because of the burning in your butthole. You should definitely see a doctor. I am about to make it the whole 10 minutes. Is this the first time I've done it in the first go and not had to reset? Paying very close attention to make sure that I do not. Almost messed up right there. 32 seconds. Almost screwed it up again. I really like profanity. It's very fun. Almost. Don't tell me reset the time. I didn't say anything. Don't gaslight me. As Merriam-Webster's word of the year is gaslighting. To which so many people replied, no, it's not. Not exactly what gaslighting is. Just lying to somebody straight up is not what gaslighting is. People use the word wrong a lot. Yes, nine tails. It's kind of like ad hominem. Nobody knows what it actually means. All right, when we come back from the other side of the break, we're going to get an update on the rail strike. A company fired almost 3,000 of its workers while they were sleeping right before Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about the possible merger between Kroger and Albertson and how that would affect you as a consumer. Consumer confidence has fallen in the past quarter. New report says that the U.S. is profiting from the war in Ukraine. Shocked, I tell you. We're going to go over the Supreme Court's arguments on the Biden deportation policy. An oath keeper has been found guilty of seditious conspiracy. 15-year-old boy was arrested, sleeping with his rifle. Man is dead after catching fire at a hospital. A investigation is underway after a rap video was released that shows two inmates filming the rap video in the prison. We're going to have to watch Tim Pool, unfortunately. We're going to talk about this Balenciaga, am I saying the name right? The right-wing faux outrage over the Balenciaga. Nine tails, I don't know. I don't know if it's sleeping with or sleeping with. Mazalopsy. Mazalopsy, am I saying it correctly? Please do not let me fuck up your name. But I'm so happy to see you tonight. You're an ad hominem. You're an ad hominem. We're going to talk about all that and more when we come back the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol Live. Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal. Leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right. So give me your money or I'm selling you out.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
Damn right I'm a shill. Damn right I'm shilling. Give me monies. Me money. Need money now. Many green dead people from long ago times. I'm fucking up the line. How did I see your public comment? Lord Locke, did I tell you good evening?
Come on, man.
Because if I didn't, good evening. Nine Tails, I've been in here talking all kinds of mad shit. I feel like my chat's the kind of chat that would appreciate a good Zizek meme. My chat's the kind of chat that appreciate a good Zizek death grips meme. Like specifically, like I got like 2 people in the chat that are like, my God, this meme just hits home. That would get a little, let it get away on me there. That was woof. I might be high enough for this shit now. I'm doing the freaking news. For some reason, I have a hard time really hitting that S news to where it doesn't get taken out by my. I'm saying the S really softly. And then it gets taken out when like I go through and put a dynamics processing on it and take out the lower frequencies. Ida, good evening. I'm so glad to see you. I am sorry your hip hurts. I've been having hip issues. I don't like it. But also, like, my hip issues are probably caused by my own stupidity. Talking to Curiouser about it yesterday, I think it was. Like, the way the cats sleep, the cats dictate how I sleep, right? So the way the cats lay around me, because like they like to be cuddled a certain way, and depending on which cat it is, depends on which way I cuddle them. Sometimes it's both cats, and I gotta be in some weird position where I got like a hand on it. It's very rare it's both cats. I like to say hey to everybody. It's like we were having this conversation early on, you know, about like the cool thing about being a smaller streamer is I get to communicate with you guys directly. I think that's neat. It is something I will miss if I become a bigger streamer. However, I need money. Give money now. Many monies. Please money now. Money me now. I would like to come on with like breaking news. Like, alright, the Senate's doing it. Just pay attention to nothing but news shit all day. Come on, alright, the Senate's voting on this. And also, like, I have other things. I have other things in the works. See, I have a hard time saying that S on the end of words. Words. I would like to do a 30-minute cartoon. It's kind of like a, you know, like a Daily Show, Last Week Tonight type-ish show with like the freaking news personality, the cartoon me. And I call it This Freaking Week. And that would come on Saturdays. I ain't got time to do that shit right now, so help me get bigger and then I'll do more shit. These are ideas I have up here. I threw out a podcast idea to my buddy who used to be a wrestler. It still is a wrestler. I mean, like, you don't just not be a wrestler one day. He is a wrestler. It's in his blood. I pitched an idea to him. He fucking likes it and he wants to do it. So he's like motivating me to get it done. So you may get a new wrestling podcast from me. And it's a unique idea. There's nothing like it in the wrestling podcasting world right now. There's something like it in the music world because I'm totally ripping off another podcast. But it's taking an idea from somewhere else and applying it to wrestling. You may get that shortly. We're currently talking about episode topics. I threw out John Cena and he's like, John Cena, like, we can't do that. He's pristine. We can't take the piss out of John Cena. Yeah, we can. Alright, let's find out what that news be doing. We're going to check in with the possible strike. This is multiple rail unions. Biden has now asked Congress to intervene. And they have the power to impose a deal. I don't know if it's necessarily like the deal that the unions have rejected. They have the power to impose that deal, but I do believe Congress has the power to impose any deal that Congress could give the workers what they want, as I understand it. The Congress lines up behind Biden's strike plan, but it might not be quick. On Monday, Biden urged Congress to pass legislation to force the tentative agreement into effect. Now, it looks like Biden, I had not read this yet, is pushing for Congress to pass the tentative agreement that the unions have currently rejected. Let's hear comments. By the way, Marco Rubio saying he would reject the deal because he wouldn't support legislation that goes against what the unions want. So, amazingly enough, me and Marco Rubio are on the same side on this one. Interesting.
4 of us agreed we got to resolve this rail shutdown as quickly as possible.
By 4, I believe he means himself, Speaker Pelosi, incoming presumed Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and Joe Biden. That's who I assume the 4 people are he is speaking of.
And that we would work together on doing it. Leader McConnell and I said we have to resolve it in the Senate.
Nobody wants the economy to fail. Nobody wants this to happen. But this is another situation where...
Oh, no, sir. No. Actually, a lot of us really want this specific thing to happen. It would be really nice if we could organize around it and get a whole general strike going on, because fuck you guys.
Administration told us one thing, just like they told us about inflation, was transitory. We found that it was not. This was in a negotiation that was selected by this administration. This was something that was celebrated by this administration, that it was fixed. And now, right before a holiday season, right when farmers need to ship their goods and others, we have to rush something to the floor.
It's not everything I would like.
They, the capitalist class that you are seeing being spoken for right now, they don't want this to happen. I want it to happen.
To see, I think that we should have paid sick leave. Every country.
No, warlord, bad warlord, cancel warlord.
But nonetheless, we have an improved situation, and again, I don't like going against the ability of unions to strike, but weighing the equities, we must avoid a strike. Jobs will be lost, even union jobs will be lost, water will not be safe, product will not be going to market. It is, we could lose 750,000 jobs, some of them union jobs. That must be avoided.
Well, I mean, they made a deal, but then they got to vote on it, and the workers said no. Democratic and Republican leaders lined up on Tuesday behind President Joe Biden's call for Congress to head off a potential freight rail strike, with just days left before a threatened shutdown could start to affect supplies for critical resources such as drinking water. The end of the... Okay, it says in the story. Both Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said Tuesday that Congress needs to act soon, well before the official December 9th deadline, considering that certain industries will begin sidelining freight shipments as soon as this weekend in preparation for a shutdown. The House is steaming ahead on Tuesday evening. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the chamber will vote on legislation tomorrow to adopt the tentative agreement and then have a separate vote to add 7 days. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Congress has this power. And if the vote is going to happen tomorrow, and apparently the vote for the separate 7 days of paid sick leave being added onto it, there's going to be another vote, then we need to start calling our Congress people tomorrow. You email them, you call them. You say you definitely need to add the 7 days. Be awfully nice if you gave them 2 weeks. So this is what I was talking about, that I was going to withhold the judgment if Democrats did the right thing and tacked on days off. And it looks like we are getting that. 30 days? I'm fucking make our demands. I think the union asked for 2 weeks. I think that was what they were asking for, was 2 weeks paid leave. So perhaps the Democrats see this as meeting them in the middle, giving them a week of paid leave. Some Democrats threatened to vote against a bill that did not include additional sick leave. The package will be sent to the Senate. Quick passage is more complicated in the Senate, where dissenters from both parties have threatened to slow the action, saying it gives short shrift to rail workers who have been demanding sick leave, which was left out of the deal. Well, then pass the bill. Okay, is there support in both chambers for sick leave? This shouldn't be hard. So if Congress has the power to impose the deal and they impose it and tack on sick leave, Cool. And remember, this is just a tentative deal to avoid the strike before the holidays. Doesn't mean we can't still strike down the road. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh is expected to address Senate Democrats on Thursday about averting a rail strike, according to a person familiar with the Secretary's plans, who was granted anonymity to speak freely about the matter. McConnell acknowledged that Congress will need to pass a bill, but he also characterized feelings among his fellow Senate Republicans as mixed. Well, I think some may be inclined to vote against it, McConnell said, and others are arguing that the economic price of doing that is too great. I hope it falls apart. Schumer said during a press conference that Leader McConnell and I both want to pass it quickly, but did not give a specific timeline. Either way, it looks like the workers are going to get concessions out of it. Why do you need to belong to a union? If you belong to a union, shit like this can't happen to you. The company fired 2,700 workers while they were sleeping days before Thanksgiving. Workers at a Mississippi-based furniture company received a text message saying they were terminated just before midnight on the 21st of November. Mississippi-based furniture company abruptly fired nearly 2,700 workers in the U.S. just days before Thanksgiving, according to multiple reports. This is from The Guardian we're reading from. But it says in the U.S. Right before midnight on the 21st of November, thousands of workers, many of whom were asleep, received a text message from United Furniture Industries saying that they were terminated effective immediately and were no longer allowed to return to work. At the instruction of the board of directors, we regret to inform you that due to unforeseen business circumstances, the company has been forced to make the difficult decision to terminate the employment of all its employees effective immediately. Your layoff from the company is expected to be permanent, and all benefits will be terminated immediately without provision of COBRA. The company also instructed its drivers to immediately return equipment, inventory, and delivery documents, regardless of whether or not they have completed their delivery. I would not. Employees were given no explanation for why they were terminated so abruptly. On Tuesday, UFI sent out an update regarding the retrieval of their belongings. As soon as the property manager can provide a safe and orderly process for former employees to come and gather their belongings, they will do so. We are not certain of the time frame for this, but will communicate proactively. Not The Onion. You belong to a union, they can't do that shit to you. If they're going under, which it looks like they are, the union will negotiate your severance. You will get something from those assholes. They can't just fire you on the spot like that. Let's move from talking about labor to talking about monopolies. Talk about monopolies. Kroger is unionized, though, which is interesting. Still don't think it's a good idea for it to merge with Albertsons. Merger between grocery giants Kroger and Albertsons will have an impact on customers, predicting just how the consumer impact of this tremendously large deal will play. Who are they quoting? Donald Trump? Tremendously large deal? It's a tremendously large deal. Will play out is more difficult. This is according to David Ortega, an associate professor in the Department of Agricultural, Food, Resource, Economics at Michigan State University. Companies announced last month that Kroger would acquire Albertson, forming a combined company that will reach about 85 million households. The deal is valued at about $24.6 billion and is expected to close in early 2024. Kroger and Albertsons combined have nearly 5,000 stores across 48 states and D.C. The merger has to go through the regulatory process, during which the companies say they expect to shed some stores. The combined companies also boast about 60 distribution centers, over 50 manufacturing plants, and thousands of pharmacies and fuel centers. Companies will operate under dozens of banners in addition to stores branded as Kroger and Albertson. They include Safeway, Vaughn's, Foods Co., Fred Meyer, Pick and Save, and Ralph's. All being run by this same behemoth company. Rodney McMullen, Kroger chairman and CEO, said in a news release that Albertsons has a complementary footprint to that of his company's stores. Is there no talk of stopping this merger? Kroger and Albertsons say they will leverage their new size to invest about $500 million to lower prices for consumers. The merger will expand their network of stores, distribution centers, and suppliers. Whether prices actually drop might depend on the individual market, Ortega said. In highly concentrated markets, evidence points to potential price increases. In less concentrated markets, there tend to be price decreases. Since we are talking about grocery store chains, shall we look at the map of America's favorite grocery stores by region? Friday Night Freak Show viewers might know what I'm talking about. You can tell in the Capital Beltway section of the country, Kroger is their favorite grocery store. Up in the Pacific Northwest, they're big fans of Turtle Bees. Down in Spicy Town, Corb Torsten's is the grocery store of choice. In the Mid-Up, they're big fans of Minotaur. In the Great Plains, they got a Chucky Friend. Go to the Chucky Friend and get your groceries taken care of. In the Plain Plains, they're a big fan of the Food Mommy. I ain't never seen a goddamn Turtle Bees in my life. Oh, the Appalachia region is a big fan of the Wilson Titley regional chain of stores. For the longest time on Facebook, I listed myself as a regional manager for Wilson Titley. And right-wingers, this fake grocery store that I created the page for, they would go to the page and complain about me and send messages and try to get me fired from a fake grocery store. You've never heard of the Great Flamingo? Great Flamingo is the favorite grocery store of residents of Gulf Toast, of the Gulf Toast region. I fucking love this meme. Once again, this is a meme that Sparkles sent me 3 or 4 years ago. And I looked her dead in the eyes and said, that's not fucking funny. And it's ended up being a running gag on several shows now. You see, you put the bees in the turtles, and that's what gives them the flavor. Because the funny thing, the meme itself is not funny to me. It's how people react to it that is hilarious. And that's what, like, the top comment was, I ain't never seen a goddamn Turtle Bees in my entire life. That was like the top comment on the post. Because Kroger is real, it throws everybody off. Since they see Kroger and they recognize Kroger, they assume all the other brands are real, and then it fucks their heads up. Or Torsons. I'm sorry. What'd that news be doing? If you could really shop at a Corb Torson's or at a Turtle Bees, then consumer confidence might not be following. Hold on. Let me do that one again. If you could actually shop at a Turtle Bees or a Corb Torson. I wanted to redo the intro just in case I wanted to clip it for YouTube, but like if I clip it there, nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about with Corb Torsons or anything, so the segue actually makes no sense. Consumer confidence fell. And I said it was the quarter. Apparently it's for a second straight month.
All right, there you have it. The sound of the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
It signals the end of the trading day on Wall Street. It was a flat day across the board.
The S&P.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. This is. I thought we were watching like CNBC or something. This is CBS News. This is their news service. I thought it was like kind of condescending if somebody is watching CNBC, you're telling them. And the bell signals the close of the market. Cause shit, I know that, and I don't know jack about finance.
0.25%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq ended the day in the red, down over 0.5%. Let's bring in Steve Odland now for more. He's the president and CEO of the Conference Board. Steve, hey there. Tell us what's driving the market.
What up, Steve? You look like a chud.
What's driving?
I mean, this has been a big day at the Conference Board. We just released the latest consumer confidence results, and we're declining again. You know, the consumers are really negative here on the state of the economy.
Well, consumer confidence fell for a second straight month. So what?
Maybe the consumers are not so much negative on the state of the economy. They're negative on the state of their paychecks.
What does this mean heading into the busy holiday season?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because we are going into a recession. That's the flashing light here. Consumers are telling us they're worried about where we're going in the next 6 months. They're seeing inflation very high, especially with food and gas. They're seeing still double-digit inflation with food and gas prices, and we're seeing a high correlation between the consumer confidence result.
Motherfucker, you're talking about gas prices, like in the words of the Macho Man Randy Savage. What's causing all that? No, wait a minute, that's Flair. What's causing all that, motherfuckers? What's causing all that?
And the cost of gas. And so people are really, concerned about the holidays. And so their intentions to spend in the holidays is lower than it has been in past years because
what's price per barrel for a barrel of oil right now?
However,
$78.92.
Black Friday.
I'm sorry, $78.73 right now. That is the price per barrel of oil. If gas prices are still high, I don't know how to. 78.73 is on the low end of where the price of a barrel of oil has hovered for much of my adult life. So, if the price of a barrel of oil, make sure you guys can see this with us here. If the price of a barrel of oil is at $78.75, then why gas so high? Why gas so high? I believe somebody price gouging.
Pretty good Cyber Monday, pretty good results in the holiday. We're seeing about 2.5% holiday growth here so far this season. But, you have to remember that 7 to 8% inflation going with that. So you would expect it to be actually higher. So even though we're going to have record sales in the season, it's becoming from discounts, more items from more retailers, and
that was like now.
Margins.
Oh, that's interesting, Steve, because
that was like the current
I'm trying to
Tigger.
reconcile these record sales numbers that were recorded on Cyber Monday with the continuing decline in consumer confidence. But it sounds like where these companies are counting on the holidays to boost their sales, that because of the discounts they've had to offer, it sounds like they're not going to potentially make their targets.
Yeah, I think that's right. And look, it's not even across the entire retail market. The high-end retailers are doing just fine, as are the high-end consumers. Consumer confidence
Balenciaga isn't doing just fine, as I understand it.
It went down with the
good evening,
consumers, and it went down with 55 plus people who are on fixed income, and where their income and their spending power is being eroded away by inflation. So if you took that 7 to 8% inflation, which we're seeing across the market, you would expect sales to be up that much. And the fact that it's only, it's up, and so it's up 2.5%. But that's really all inflationary. So as you're having these retailers having to deal more, to add more items on deal, to clear inventories that are now backed up on certain items, you're going to expect retail margins to get hammered. And therefore, the question is what's going to happen in January when you have the final clearance sales, and then are they going to have to experience layoffs in order to make things work for a lot of these retail companies? So a lot of concern here, and I think that's what consumers are.
So is that what we're looking at? A January just complete,
even though they
demolishing of the economy, everybody laying people off.
What's going to happen?
So what's the big sort of takeaway
We're
here?
going to barely hang on through the holidays, and then in January, like it's Black January.
About how Americans are feeling right now about the U.S. economy.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and I think consumers are worried. And typically when you go into a recession, it's the jobs that get hit first. We're used to hearing in most recessions about these big layoffs and so forth. Now you're starting to hear that a little bit on the tech side. We heard about Twitter, we've heard a little bit about Amazon, we've heard Facebook and some of these other places. But in total, it hasn't really rippled through yet, and it may be.
He is a lizard person.
Recession,
can confirm,
rather than a huge job loss recession, because there are these 10 million job openings right now that companies have not been able to fill, and so there could be a lot of open positions as they're trying to retain certain skills.
I've already done that a couple times in my life.
Very strange recession, but it will be a recession.
I don't think I'm far enough away from the last time I did it to do it again.
All right, Steve Odland. Steve, your picture froze, but we heard everything you said loud and clear. Thanks so much for your insight and analysis.
Heard you loud and clear. Couldn't see you. You froze up on us. But we heard you loud and clear. Somebody's making some money right now. Consumer confidence is down. Unless what you're buying is toys of war. Some European officials are accusing the U.S. of profiting from the war in Ukraine. Nah, shit. Nah, shit. The U.S. profit from war? Lady B, good evening. Top European officials have accused the United States of profiting from the Ukraine war, according to a report from Politico, in what could damage the West's united front against Russia. Officials told the publication the Biden administration was making a fortune from Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, while European countries were left to suffer. I don't think it's necessarily the Biden administration, but I think Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, all Boeing, all the usual suspects are indeed making a killing. The fact is, if you look at it soberly, the country that is most profiting from this war is the United States, because they are selling more gas and at higher prices, and because they are selling more weapons. We are really at a historic juncture. America needs to realize that public opinion is shifting in many EU countries. The comments were backed publicly and privately by some European officials, diplomats, and ministers, according to Politico. Europe is bracing for a difficult winter due to soaring energy costs. While oil prices have fallen back below pre-invasion levels, natural gas prices remain far higher and are likely to help push the Eurozone into recession. Officials, including French President Emmanuel Macron, have called U.S. climate legislation and ensuing gas prices not friendly. A Politico report explained that third-party sale of natural gas exported from the U.S. were increasing prices being in Europe. A spokesperson for the White House's National Security Council rejected the claims, telling Politico the rise in gas prices in Europe is caused by Putin's invasion of Ukraine and Putin's energy war against Europe, period. Exports of natural gas from the U.S. to Europe increased dramatically and enabled Europe to diversify away from Russia. Officials are also angry at Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, a $739 billion bill with a big focus on clean energy, which an official from France's Foreign Affairs Ministry called discriminatory subsidies that will distort competition. The Inflation Reduction Act has changed everything, one EU diplomat told Politico. Is Washington still our ally or not? An NPR report highlighted how Europe was increasingly fearful of its industries fleeing to the U.S., part because of the Inflation Act. Signs of discord between the U.S. and the EU will be welcomed by Putin, whose troops have suffered major setbacks in Ukraine in recent months. A European Commission official told Insider the U.S. and the EU are working hand in hand to support Ukraine in its legitimate resistance to Russia's invasion, alongside G7 members and other partners. Well. Man, that's a lot to take in, considering what could happen if a fascist regime was to take control of power in the U.S., say, come 2024. But that would never happen. Supreme Court still in session, still doing stupid shit, I assume. They are conflicted over a Biden deportation policy. The U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday wrestled for more than 2 hours with a perennial Washington pickle. A perennial pickle. How to square immigration enforcement mandates and federal law with Congress's failure to provide sufficient funding to do the job. Justices also took on whether states like Texas and Louisiana, suffering alleged harm from illegal immigration, can sue the government to force it to crack down. Once again, we have like a record number of law enforcement action against immigrants, so aren't we already cracking down? There appeared to be no clear answers to the politically charged question. Shall means shall. Chief Justice John Roberts suggested a federal law instructing the Department of Homeland Security to take into custody unlawful immigrants convicted of certain crimes. But Roberts went on to observe it's impossible for the executive branch to detain and deport all 11 million immigrants eligible for removal from the United States. Certainly there are cases where we've said shall means may, he added. The government has only 6,000 interior immigration enforcement officers, according to the DHS. Merkin, good evening. The perennial pickle is now Merkin's porno nom de plume. The heart of the case are Department of Homeland Security guidelines established by the Biden administration in 2021 to prioritize arrest, deportation of unlawful immigrants deemed a danger to national security or public safety over those who are otherwise non-criminals. The administration argues it has broad discretion in how it detains and deports immigrants, consistent with an approach long taken by governments of both parties. Texas and Louisiana, which are challenging the guidelines, allege the White House approach to deportations is an abuse of discretion that has imposed costs on state taxpayers. States bear many of the consequences of federal immigration decisions, this according to Texas Solicitor General Judd Stone. Sir, I think you may win the award for the most Texas name in Texas. Judd Stone. Stone claims up to 80,000 criminal aliens are living in Texas. I love me some cucumbers. I do not like pickled things. So that is what the Supreme Court went over today. Moving to criminal court. Federal criminal court. Where I do believe we have an historic ruling by a jury. I am almost positive this is the first ever conviction of seditious conspiracy in this country. Stewart Rhodes and one other Oath Keeper found guilty of seditious conspiracy. A jury found Oath Keeper's founder, Stewart Rhodes, guilty of the rare charge of seditious conspiracy following a 2-month trial. They say rare. So perhaps somebody has been convicted before. He plotted an armed rebellion to stop the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Mr. Biden, prosecutors said. 4 more were on trial with him related to the 2021 Capitol riots. 3 of the group, Jessica Watkins, Kelly Meggs, and Kenneth Harrelson, went inside the building during the attack. Meggs was also found guilty of seditious conspiracy on Tuesday. Both Rhodes and Meggs now face a maximum 20-year sentence on the charges. I'm amazed it's not 20 years minimum. Harrelson, Watkins, and a 5th member, Thomas Caldwell, were found not guilty of seditious conspiracy. All 5 of the group members were found guilty of obstruction of an official proceeding. We have convicted 4 nationals of sedition before. Okay, so this is quite possibly the first guilty verdict returned against a U.S. citizen. Just know that just like Dan Crenshaw, maybe not as much as I want to with Dan Crenshaw, but I would very much like to piss in Stewart Rhodes' open eye hole. Hey, Stewart, give me that eye pussy, sir. I haven't done that bit in a while. Thank you, Mox. Give me that eye pussy, Mr. Rhodes. The verdict comes after 3 full days of jury deliberation, in case you didn't know what the motherfucker looks like. Give me the Washington Commanders eye pussy too. I'll piss in it. In order to be convicted of seditious conspiracy, prosecutors must prove that 2 or more people conspired to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the U.S. government, or that they plan to use force to oppose U.S. authority. Alan Rosenscharten, a law professor at the University of Minnesota and a former U.S. Department of Justice lawyer, said the conviction of Rhodes is significant because it shows that a seditious conspiracy charge is a viable and legal path for punishing the most serious anti-democratic conduct. He added that the mixed verdict proves that juries are able to apply the conviction responsibly. The verdict is also a confidence boost for the Department of Justice. Mr. Rosenstein said in their quest to prosecute more people in relation to the Capitol riots. So far, around 900 people in nearly all 50 states have been arrested for taking part in the riot. Another famous storming of the U.S. Capitol also led to successful seditious conspiracy convictions. Okay, so here we go. In 1954, 4 nationalists from the U.S. island territory of Puerto Rico fired shots onto the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives, wounding several lawmakers. The attackers, as well as more than a dozen other members of the group, were found guilty of sedition. So there you go. It was applied to Puerto Rican nationalists who were probably rightfully upset and probably shouldn't have had the... I guess if you interpret the strict letter of the law, they're guilty, but, you know, you can understand their position. More Oath Keepers members, along with members of another far-right group, the Proud Boys, will go on trial on seditious conspiracy charges later this year. Sir Warm-Ups, what is going on, my friend? Rhodes does look like a scallywag, doesn't he? That's a scallywag if I've ever seen one. Right-wingers are morons. And in some cases are seditious. Meat Cakes, good evening. So glad to see all of you. This is a wild story for you. I sleep with cats. Some people sleep in a bed with their wives. Some 15-year-olds apparently sleep with their guns. 15-year-old boy arrested, found sleeping with a loaded AR-15 style rifle in a Hyattsville home. It happened in Hyattsville, Maryland. Hyattsville Police Department said they have taken a 15-year-old boy into custody after he was found sleeping with an AR-15 style rifle Monday night. As far as I know, just sleeping with a rifle isn't against the law. Now, it is a kid, assuming it's illegal for the kid to possess the rifle. According to police, just after 8 p.m., Hyattsville Police Communications received a call from a home for an armed person. When officers arrived, they discovered that the suspect was asleep in his room with a short-barreled AR-15 style rifle with a black 30-round magazine inserted into the magazine well. What happens when you start dry humping the motherfucker? I would love to sleep with all 3 of my cats, but not all 3 of them are going to sleep with me. I think I've gotten one night where all 3 of them slept with me in like the last couple of months. Police entered the home using a rifle shield and saw that the suspect, a 15-year-old boy, was laying on his back asleep with a short-barreled AR-15 style rifle loaded. Police said Macaulay then retrieved the rifle and rendered the weapon safe. The rifle was loaded with a 30-round P-mag, which contained 2, I don't even fucking care. A serial number on the gun was not located because police said the serial number was covered by a black glue substance. The boy was taken into custody without incidents. This is possible that these police actually prevented a shooting, which would have been yet another day in mass shooting USA. Would really indeed like to know what the fuck the parents were doing in this situation. There's a picture of the rifle that was confiscated. He's sleeping with a loaded rifle. God damn. No mass shooting there. Now, apparently, we had a discussion last night. Curiouser thinks I should stop using this one because she thinks it's terms of service. But remember, kids, shoot up drugs, not schools. It cracks me up. I'm not telling people to go do drugs. I'm telling you that if you have the inclination to shoot up a school, perhaps you should try drugs instead. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I need to retire that one. I'll let you guys decide, but it cracks me up. Cracks me up. Sorry, but I'm sick. You know, we were doing the story about the congressman dying of butthole cancer earlier, and that, like, I fucking made a whole thing about that. Yes, start a poll for me. Made a whole big deal about the butthole cancer. Do I still have the preacher up? I do. Don't make me do it again.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite.
Just dead horse running into the ground. Oh, well, you don't have to wash the paint off. I'm sure somebody in the chat can take care of it. Doesn't have to be you, Sassy. That's my worry is TOS. But I like it a lot. You can get it on a t-shirt from the Freak store. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have the ad below me anymore. It was the old setup. Gonna hit the content warning on this one. You can also get that from the Freak the Freak store. Yeah, call me a shill again. I welcome it. Father Raymond. Yeah, I ain't paying for your wanting to offer me viewers. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way by grinding and earning every single one of my viewers. I may have spent, I think I spent like $10 on Facebook advertising for the 420 special last year. Because it was one of those things where they matched me. And I know, like, that's a fucking bot. I'm not talking to that motherfucker. Thank you for being a freaking follower, though, you piece of shit. Learn to feel embarrassment. Oh, I guess we gotta go to commercial break here in a second. Every sodomite. That's a lot of people. That's me. He's talking about me when he says that shit. I've been in the butthole.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole.
I love that the video has a butthole counter.
Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down.
You live in
because
sexual
of the burning
anarchy.
in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire.
I'm just gonna assume that this video isn't gonna be monetized on YouTube. It's usually not. Between my pot smoking and all the topics we cover, I'm not monetized on the YouTube. I get limited monetization where you get like the really cheap ads that nobody gives a shit. That a lot of right wingers at least give people mouth cancer. You know, switch it up a little bit. God, come on. Switch your cancers up. Butthole cancer sounds funny though. I gotta refill my drink, so I guess it's a good time to take a commercial break. If you're new here, we seem to have a few newbies. I can sum up my political beliefs with one phrase. I would give anything in the world to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. I can't find it. There we go. Give me that eye, pussy. I've been on about some butthole cancer tonight, so totally get yourself a colonoscopy. Coming up on 40, you need to get your prostate exam, your colonoscopy. Women, do your mammograms. I don't even know how. I'm not a woman. Men get breast cancer too, though. I guess it's a good thing to go ahead and say. Women get your boobies felt up. What is it, 3 to 5 years? Every 3 to 5 years or something? I think you're supposed to self-examinate like every year or so. Take care of yourselves out there, because I love all of you in my chat. Don't want any of you to die. Don't want you to die like the congressman from Virginia that we covered earlier that got the cancer in the butthole. Don't want any of my freaking followers to get a cancer in the butthole. And apparently, it'll cause your butthole to be flaming.
Going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be.
I am a sick motherfucker. However, you should give this video a like and a share, because I want to make money. Because one of these days I might get butthole cancer, and I can't depend on the U.S. medical system to treat me from a butthole cancer. Because apparently this preacher, he's telling all us sodomites we're going to get the burning in the butthole. Are we going to pay the bills with some commercials? I play them all at one point, one specific moment in time, so you don't have to miss any content. We're going to do that right now. When we come back, a man spontaneously caught fire at a hospital. Officials have launched an investigation into a rat video because the inmates filmed the video inside of a prison. Apparently, Nick Fuentes and Kanye were trolling Trump and trying to get him in trouble, or maybe Kanye was just going along with what Milo and Fuentes were doing. I don't fucking know. But they were on with Tim Pool last night, and we were going to watch like the first 20 minutes because Kanye apparently throws a bitch fit and walks out. And then I'm going to have to talk about a handbag company I'd never heard of that apparently has a teddy bear that has made right-wingers go fucking nuts. So all that and more on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol Live. Oh, fuck yeah, you got Seth Rollins.
This is WWE superstar and multiple-time champion Seth Rollins. Seth is one of the top wrestlers in the industry, and never in a million years would I expect that Seth would be spying on me, or at least following me on social media. You see, a few years ago, around 2015 or 2016, Seth started referring to himself as
Seth freaking Rollins.
Now, Justin, you may say, your name is Justin Freakin. That's not very similar. And you'd be right. But I actually rebranded myself as Justin Freakin after Rollins blatantly stole my gimmick. Before last year, I went by
Justin Freakin Mullins. Justin Freakin Mullins.
Justin freaking Mullins.
I am on film and audio, calling myself Justin Freakin Mullins several years before Seth Rollins. And if we take a trip in the Wayback Machine, we can see that I've actually been using the appellative since I was in high school. If this was Seth's only offense, I might let it slide. But recently he started referring to himself as
the Monday Night Messiah.
I wonder where I have heard something like that before.
I am the new media messiah.
I am the new media messiah.
Self-proclaimed new media messiah.
The new media messiah.
So, Seth, since you and the WWE are clearly paying attention to me, consider this video your cease and desist to stop infringing on my intellectual property, and issue me a check for a cut of that sweet merchandise money. Obviously, you and the WWE are big fans of my ideas, so maybe you should offer me a slot on the creative team. Anyone who has watched Raw in the past decade knows you could use the help. And if you're watching this video and you're not Seth Rollins, check out the links below to learn how you can contribute to my legal fund.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin Freakin. The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. The day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
is not high enough for this shit.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked sick aesthetic.
Right-wingers are morons.
You brought back the wrong kind of fucking cake, you idiot.
Guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to Justin Freakin.
Yet you're like, we'll pray for somebody. You think you can telepathically communicate with a deity, and you have the audacity to say somebody else has a mental disorder. For the love of God.
In the butthole, God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn.
I'm really beating a dead horse with the cancer in the butthole. I walk through the house, it's incredibly dark. I believe Curiouser is taking a nap. And somehow, she is sleeping through me cackling about butthole cancer. I should have just left the butthole again. Like that should be the rest of the stream. We just butthole cancer. Oh, I don't even have it up anymore. God damn it.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able.
I don't think this garnered the reaction that he thought this would have. Just saying, like, if don't threaten me with a good time, sir. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's we got a few serious stories, and then we're gonna make fun of Chuds. He's talking about Taco Bell. He's talking about Taco Bell. And we got a couple more serious stories, and then we're gonna, as I was talking about a goddamn congressperson that died of butthole cancer, and if we haven't been doing serious stories already, 4 college students in Idaho were murdered, or maybe he knows exactly how memes work, and he wanted the attention. 4 college students in Idaho. Content warning. Four college students in Idaho did not die of butthole cancer. They were stabbed. They were stabbed to death. We've been following this story. New details emerging that they may have been murdered by an incel.
Growing suspicion that the killer of the 4 University of Idaho students might be an incel.
They see the whole world through the lens of misogyny.
Boy, if you're going to bring an expert in, I'd rather you not bring in Nancy Grace. Expert. I'd rather you not bring in Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace, host of the podcast Crime Stories, says the killer may have been rejected by one of the slain women.
Incels are very, very dangerous. We know these girls were in sorority.
Yeah, what are we basing this on now?
A possibility.
There has been a rash of killing sprees by incels. Elliot Rodger killed 6 and wounded 14 at the University of California Santa Barbara campus in 2014. And Pretty Idaho victims were also in sororities and posted rambunctious videos of life in their party house.
If you look at the online presence of incels in this country, they are very, very negative and hate-filled.
Now, I want to be clear. Apparently, like, there are not new details in this case, and it is just Nancy Grace speculating. Nancy's still in a sorority.
Toward beautiful women in particular.
I spoke with Idaho State Police Communications Director Aaron Snell. Does an incel fit into the potential profile of this killer?
Absolutely.
We are not speculating on that at this point in time. When it comes available and when it's appropriate, we will release that information.
Meanwhile, Steve Consalvis, father of slain Kaylee Consalvis, expressed frustration with the investigation on GMA today.
You can't imagine sending your girl to college and then they come back in an urn.
So strictly speculation, but I mean it would fit. Once again, this is I wouldn't have used that piece of sound if I had watched it beforehand. I thought, like, you know, a cop or somebody was putting that out there. But no, that was just Nancy Grace's dumb ass. This is a wild story. I'm very interested to see exactly how this happened. We're gonna get the local news hit here. I hit the content warning again. A man is dead after catching fire while in the hospital. Oh,
their loved one caught fire while being treated at TriStar Centennial and died on Thanksgiving.
Just horrific. News 2's Nikki McGee spoke to the wife of Bobby Ray Stark, who says she saw his body in flames.
Kathy Stark thinks back to the happy times with her husband, Bobby Ray.
He was a donut maker, and we met at the Moose Lodge in Castro Valley, California. And I couldn't stop looking at him. He was so good looking.
But after 35 years of marriage, she says, she became a widow Thanksgiving Day. She says Bobby was bedridden the past 7 years, and on November 17th, he went to the hospital for bed sores and a foot infection. She says he was eventually transferred to TriStar Centennial in Midtown, where he coded and staff tried to revive him.
Then they started the paddles, and it just blew up everything. I saw that and I just burst out.
Kathy says she saw flames cover her husband's body.
Apparently they were trying to bring him back to life. Whoa. It's not spontaneous combustion.
He got burnt in the throat, the face, the head, the chest, and his hands. And he got burnt.
Horrifying for everyone involved, indeed.
Said, he's on fire. Put him out.
Kathy says Bobby Ray was taken to Skyline for their burn unit, where he ended up dying Thanksgiving night. She's now staying with Bobby's daughter, who's calling for answers from the hospital.
They even made the comment to her. She's repeated it to me many times of, this has never happened before.
Yeah, that's what they said.
They need to make sure that that doesn't happen to somebody else, so somebody else doesn't lose their husband, their best friend, their dad. And even worse, we lost him on Thanksgiving.
Now, we did reach out to TriStar for a statement.
The hospital definitely burnt the turkey.
Is with the family, and they're reviewing the care given to Stark as well as the equipment used. In the meantime, the family has set up a GoFundMe for Kathy, who didn't work and relied on Bobby to get by.
Poor family. Goddamn. That's horrible for everyone around. Even the medical staff that was working on him. We don't have any indication that there was malfeasance. Sassy, they were trying to bring, like, they said he coded, and they were trying to bring him back with the defibrillator, is that what it's called? The paddles. And he caught fire. Thanksgiving is a bloodbath. I mean, mine was pretty drama-filled. Not as drama filled as Trump's though, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. The first, yeah, that's a boomer. It's totally cool. Reverse thread. I've been all on this butthole cancer tonight. I'm ashamed of myself and how I've conducted myself as a broadcaster. Officials alarmed after rat videos recorded in prison. A rat video titled "In This Cell" appears to be too authentic. It was made inside a Michigan prison despite a ban on wireless phones. You guys know we're gonna watch the fucking video.
Hey, I really wrote this for my son, though. You hear me?
Watch me get fucking copyright claim on this shit with his 642 subscribers. This is not the only rat video we're watching on this show, by the way.
I was off them parts for real. Yeah. Locked off in this cell, got me crushing down these blues. Feeling all this pain, barely can take off my shoes. Working on my heart, you can tell it been bruised. I done gave my love and loyalty and been misused. If you prove me wrong, nigga, then shame on you. If it happened twice, then maybe you someone's fool. Gotta learn your lesson like it was still in school. Still sharp and still better, still run them tools. This for my son, I want my little nigga game tight.
If you ain't a pro, don't try to lip sync to your song. I'm just saying.
I know I ain't been around nearly your whole life. Yeah, I've been on the yard banging that old night.
Also, if you're gonna try to lip sync, fucking do it. Play the song and do it like you were, God of Buffalo, good evening. Play the song and actually fucking rap along with it. But now they've got some issues with doing that though, I'd say.
But I got it sound right, and in time you see, you be shining me like I'm in this town, got me touching down these blues. Feeling all this pain, barely can take off my shoes. Working on
Yeah, he's got some limitations, Mergen. I mean, he's got a phone.
If you prove me wrong, nigga, then shame on you. If it happened twice, nigga, you someone fool. Gotta learn your lesson.
Horrible conditions.
Still sharp and still better, still run them tools.
He's literally behind a paywall.
They put me to the test. I came up in the struggle, hoping that my demons rest. I got a lot to say, I got to get this off.
Lil Wayne really let himself go.
My mama's struggling, she did the best she can, but I'm still out here hustling. They locked me in the can, all that time had me suffering. But I kept it chill, I turned nothing into something. I'm broken.
You got some good artwork.
I'm trying to stay sane. I'm hoping that it rains so I can see it right today. Injustice in the system make me feel some type of way. And police out here hunting us, get trying to beat the case. Like an only boy.
I don't know how I feel about the song. I think they got some talent.
Take on my shoes. Working on my heart, you can tell it isn't bruised.
I'll take him into the studio. We might be able to make some hits.
If you pull me once, the nigga, that shame on you. If it happened twice, maybe you someone.
This is not a bad beat.
Like you were still in school, still
I'm not feeling this song in particular, but like I think they got some talent. I think I see something with these kids. Getting that powdered egg breakfast.
You said fuck what? Bro, it's water on the floor. We talking about drink. Man, come on, man.
That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. We got some water on the floor. I don't know that the fact that they made the video is the worrying thing about the video. The men appear to have two phones. The Corrections Department spokesperson told the Detroit Free Press it's incredibly dangerous to have wireless phones inside a prison, especially with the capability of getting onto the internet. He said they could be used to arrange escapes or harass crime witnesses. Our prisons are falling apart. I really need to do a story on that. We need to delve into our prisons, our jails are just complete fucking shitholes that are actively disintegrating in front of our eyes. Not everybody is aware of that. Great time to be an American. Speaking of prison, let's talk about the possibility that one Mr. Donald Trump may go to prison. Trump faces looming deadlines in Mar-a-Lago case that could quickly lead to an indictment. The preliminary phase of the Mar-a-Lago documents investigation is about to reach an important deadline, and prosecution could be next for Donald Trump. Special Master Raymond Dearie faces a December 16th deadline for issuing his report on evidence seized by FBI agents at Trump's home, but the 11th Circuit Court has indicated it may take the case away from him any day, and the Justice Department has a hearing scheduled on Thursday with the retired judge appointed to oversee the case. We're going to get some movement here in a couple of days. Many legal watchers now believe Judge Dearie is laboring on borrowed time as Mr. Trump's attorney, James Trusty. I'm sure this attorney is very trusty. Could not furnish the jurist with a single instance where a special master was appointed in the absence of a finding of prosecutorial misconduct. A hearing before the special master is scheduled for the 1st of December, adding a dash of urgency to the riders' deliberations. If the appeals court undoes Dearie's appointment, as appears likely, that would allow newly appointed special counsel Jack Smith to quickly hand up an indictment against the former president for squirreling away top secret documents at his home. If the special counsel stays in place, his final report will inevitably be subject to further legal wrangling and appeals, pushing the horizon for a trial even further into the distance. The greater the delay, the louder the cries that Mr. Trump, who has already declared for 2024, is being subject to a political prosecution. Smith's team is likely eager to get started so they can move the case out of the Southern District of Florida, where Trump-appointed Judge Aileen Cannon has surprised legal experts with a series of baffling rulings that favor the former president and move the prosecution to D.C. Indictment could allow Mr. Smith to end Judge Cannon's stewardship of the investigation. The District of Columbia could prove to be an enticing place to file charges, as the documents were first transported from the White House, and the jury pool is likely to be skeptical of Mr. Trump, given that more than 90% of its residents voted for President Biden.
Come on, man!
Surely Trump's lawyers would argue for a change of venue and claim that he couldn't get a fair trial in Washington, D.C. Should an indictment come, remember, you're gonna shave the head. I will keep that promise. Apparently, Trump was being trolled when he had a couple of white supremacists by his house. The inside story of Trump's explosive dinner with Ye and Nick Fuentes. Reminder, we've got Ye on Timcast coming up right after this. Just 2 days before Thanksgiving, Donald Trump was planning to have a private, uneventful dinner with an old friend. Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West. The two had arranged to break bread on Tuesday night as Trump's Mar-a-Lago Club in Florida, or at Trump's Mar-a-Lago Club in Florida, after weeks of private phone conversations, as Ye lost lucrative partnerships and became a mainstream cultural pariah for his anti-Semitic remarks, according to those familiar with the talks between the two men. But Trump may have been walking into a trap in Mar-a-Lago's gilded halls, one that leveraged his own penchant for spectacle and showmanship against him. Ye arrived with 3 guests, including white nationalist and anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Trump has since said he didn't know Fuentes or his background when they dined together, a claim Fuentes confirmed in an interview. But others at the crowded members-only club figured out his identity. News of the meeting prompted an avalanche of criticism from some Republican rivals and allies of Trump and his then week-old presidential campaign. Once again, the Secret Service is going to do a background check on anyone who is around Trump. Oh, he's a nice person. Once again, reminding everybody who might not be familiar with Nick Fuentes, who Nick Fuentes is. I've had a run-in with his people. This is what the motherfucker looks like. Sure looks like a nice kid. Looks like a chud. In damage control, Trump's campaign is now instituting new vetting procedures and gatekeeping efforts as details emerge about how Fuentes and the former president found themselves at the same table. The uproar underscores long-standing issues with Trump as Republicans consider whether they want him back as president again in 2024. Both his campaigns and his administration were often characterized by chaos and buffeted? Yeah, buffet, it's the past tense. But tell me how to...
Buffeted.
Buffeted. Buffeted. Might get the buffeted cancer. God will put a buffeted cancer. God will put a cancer in your buffeted. I'm sorry.
God's gonna put a cancer in the
You're buffeted.
God's gonna put...
Yeah, apparently Nick Fuentes was running Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter or some shit. The headline grabbing attention on his guests and therefore the subsequent fallout were all but ensured by Trump before the dinner when he made a grand entrance at about 8 p.m. Meet his guests. We saw everybody in the dining room get up and start applauding, and then the president entered. Fuentes told NBC News he greeted us and he invited Ye into dinner, and Ye said that he wanted to bring us with him to the table. So we walked in and Ye took some pictures with some of the guests in the dining room, and then we sat down at the table. Trump made sure they sat at his specifically reserved table on the patio for all to see, according to Fuentes. But the dinner wasn't the happy photo op the president had planned. Ye criticized Trump for not doing enough to help pay the legal bills of those arrested in the January 6th Capitol riots, as if Trump gives a shit about them. And he also told Trump he might run for president against him. Apparently Kanye has already declared, and said Trump should instead be his running mate, all of which angered the big baby, who attacked Ye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian, according to 2 dinner participants, and Ye, who blasted out of Mar-a-Lago debriefed, blasted out a Mar-a-Lago debrief video to his 32.2 million follow. Wait, there's a video. Let's watch it. Hit me with it, Kanye. Is it the video?
I think the thing that Trump was most perturbed about, me asking him to be my vice president, I think that was like lower on the list of things that caught him off guard. It was the fact that I walked in with intelligence. So Trump is really impressed with Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, unlike so many of the lawyers and so many people that he was left with on his 2020 campaign, he's actually a loyalist. When he didn't know what the lawyers is, you'll still have your lawyer list. And when all the lawyers said, forget it, Trump's done, there were loyalists running up in the White House, right? And my question would be, why, when you had the chance, did you not free the January 6ers? And I came to him as someone who loves Trump, and I said, go and get Corey back. Go and get these people that the media tried to cancel and told you to step away from. He basically gives me this would-be mob-esque kind of story, talking to some kid from the south side of Chicago trying to sound mobby or whatever. He goes into the story about all that he went through to get Alice Johnson out of jail and how he didn't do it for Kim, but he did it for...
Well, I mean, if anything, it splinters the right because, like, the Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire types, they're, like, completely against, on the surface, against anti-Semites. Like Nick Fuentes.
For me. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And I was thinking, like, that's the mother of my children. Since we know that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And
it sounded like he said disgusting human being.
But he did it for me. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And I was thinking, like, that's the mother.
Why would you bleep that?
Since we know, and all the
he didn't come up with a fun nickname for her? Come on, man, what the fuck?
Come on, man.
Christians in America that love Trump know that Trump is a conservative. We're going to demand that you hold all policies directly to the Bible. When Trump started basically screaming at me at the table, telling me I was going to lose, I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history?
You're going to lose. Tell him he's going to lose.
I'm like, well, hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye.
Yeah, you're talking to Ye. Apparently Trump called a very troubled man. All right. This is the main event for the night. I've got my hair up in a bun. I'm going to take my hair down for this one. The hair comes down for this story. Kanye, Nick Fuentes, and I believe Milo were all on with Tim Pool last night. I believe this stream was going on as my stream was going on. We touched on it because apparently Kanye said some really anti-Semitic shit. But I don't think we really got into it. So here we go. We're going to watch about the first 20 minutes of last night's Timcast. If we can get through it, because apparently Kanye throws a hissy fit and sparks fly, so this should be fun.
Is now going on for over a week, which is in many ways unheard of. But right now, because Donald Trump went to dinner with Ye and Nick Fuentes, among others, he is now being denounced by Mike Pence, several Republican senators, and for whatever reason, this story, for many reasons I suppose people have made, this story has persisted till today. And we are able to actually sit down with several of the individuals involved in that story, notably Ye, Nick Fuentes, and Malinopolis, of course, who made the dinner happen. It's my understanding, or at least got the.
I had the dinner invite.
Oh wait a minute, I was wrong.
Okay, my bad.
I said earlier that Nick Fuentes was running Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter, but apparently it was Milo. Milo was running her Twitter. I need to correct myself on that.
So we're gonna jump right into this
just
news story.
overcomplicated it.
Absolutely. So we're gonna start with that. And there's a lot we want to talk about, and you know what, man, this is a very big story. A lot of people have questions about, what were Trump's intentions, why were certain people invited.
Kanye's a pretty big get for
so
Tim
a lot of
Pool,
people
I
want
would
to know
assume.
where he stands, and more importantly, what happened there and why. And there's also the questions about what Ye 24 means, and I'll keep that a little bit vague so that they can answer to that and speak more to that.
It means he's running for president in 2024.
However, head over to Tim.
It's not that ambiguous,
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
We're going to have a members-only Uncensored show, which will probably get a bit more in-depth on a lot of other issues.
Fuck it will, motherfucker. Kanye gonna walk the fuck out on you.
And we'll talk about more there. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends.
Smash that like button, motherfuckers. Follow if you're not following on Twitch. If you're in here lurking,
you did it.
Share the video out with your fucking friends.
And, which you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself?
Nicholas, please.
Tell them to watch. Tell them to watch the butthole episode.
Nick Fuentes,
this is
first
the
time
butthole
here on
episode.
the Timcast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Speaking of buttholes, look at that butthole, Nick Fuentes.
I do a show called America First on Cozy.tv.
All right. And, of course, Milo, you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that
probably
you was one of the best podcasts ever. People really enjoyed hearing you speak.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Total Sausage Fest tonight. Welcome. My name is Okradowski of wearechange.org.
Epstein didn't Epstein himself.
Didn't Epstein himself t-shirt, which you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I think we should be using that word a little bit more, just like, this YouTube channel didn't Epstein itself. And if this YouTube channel is Epsteined, we will be streaming on Twitter. So yeah, I started a t-shirt company after YouTube demonetized me. So thebestpoliticalshirts.com, because you guys buy it. That's why I'm here.
So is this whole thing going to break up, Milo and Tim Pool?
Pleasure, guys.
All right. And I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from earlier today at 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of
Tim
course,
Pool's like, hey, let me invite you to dinner.
And I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Yay, you were there. I just want to start off by, how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign, and after I put up...
I would be excited if I had Kanye on, especially right now. Kanye, you are totally welcome to come on the Troll Patrol. I would take great pleasure in the fact that you will definitely storm off if you're on the Troll Patrol. Probably in far less time than it took you to storm off from Tim Pool.
Up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones. I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me. And here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, originally. And then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous brain firepower that he is. Most extraordinarily brilliant.
Good. If I have Kanye on, I'll make some money.
And he's been treated just about as badly as anybody, so I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno.
He was just rolling with him.
And there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. It's a
fucking Jamar. It's always Jamar.
And his, what's it?
I'm telling him we should raise everyone's volume.
Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition,
we getting on something
it says
now.
You can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
elaborate. What do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying like I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, you know, like the documentary that Kyrie posted, and
you ain't Jewish, dude.
America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you know, you said debanked or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening.
Buddy,
And
everyone
now we
sees
can
what has
really
been
understand.
happening.
We can see that Ron Emanuel.
Sir. We know what anti-Semitic tropes are like. We know where they lead. This has been going on for centuries. I don't think you're aware of it.
Well, was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But so we're getting right into it, I guess, right? I was hoping to go for the news first before we got into all of this stuff. I think the issue is,
what does that prove?
Is you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify.
And is he saying that Trump is influenced by the Jews?
Associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering, what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture, well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it.
Kanye is not the biggest star in the world.
The dam is broken.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't like.
I'm sure you got to say that around him, though.
That is.
Well, they started it, and they've been visiting on us. We're trying to break it.
When I was asking you about running for president, you immediately said, well, you know, you'd be good for the black vote. And I said, is that because I'm black? No, not just because of that. So is that, are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're personable to the common person, and you probably would do well.
No, he's not.
Just because I'm black, because a lot of black people don't like me.
Of course, I think race plays a role in a lot of things. Absolutely, and I think that's for.
I think the construct of race has really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls.
Couldn't you say the same thing about Judaism?
Well, let's look at the facts of what I'm saying, though. If you say in this neighborhood where they gerrymander, there's this amount of time. So, hey, I wasn't doing that. I was just gerrymandering the lawyers and the Hollywood executives and the people at the bank that
I don't think he knows what gerrymandering means.
You know, it's like we want to jump into protecting the idea that we can't put a net around something, right? But that's been my job as a producer, to take, you know, a Roy Ayers sample and put a James Brown drum and put it within a 2 minute, 3 minute song. That's the way I actually think, and that's the way I talk. And now this morning I found out that they were trying to put me in prison because what they did was I moved $140 million into JP Morgan. And I said, I want to talk to Jamie Dimon. Like, look at me. I'm just going in naive, you know, multi-billionaire. Like, maybe Jamie Dimon will let me in on some deal flow. Wrong. And I'm just like banging my hands like, I want to meet with Jamie. And I start complaining online. And then they
That's some entitlement.
For complaining. And so I'm about to get debanked. They're like, you need to go to Trump's the bank, AXO, whatever, you got to go. And I'm like, I've been trying to buy my own bank for the longest. And then we figured out how to get my own bank. It's like 50 million, 75 million. So I'm about to buy my own bank. But then as they're about to take the money out, here comes Adidas with a $275 million bill for marketing funds that they agreed upon. Because I said to them, hey, I'm the marketing, give me the marketing fund, which proves by the response they got when they, stole the designs and said, we're going to not call them Yeezys anymore. So this is what I was already fighting Adidas for. So I'm fighting Gap, get out of Gap, fighting Adidas. And then I deal with this little bit of noise from, Zionism from the fashion world where they use this.
This is all a personal grievance.
Who's obviously like some kind of CIA agent, knows nothing about fashion. This is
look at me.
When
I'm
someone
the marketing
can't
now.
dress, you know that they're not like a fashion person. They're just there as like the society, like the control that they try to use with celebrities, which has now been broken, right? Because where it broke. Okay. I want to get on like LeBron in a second. But I'm going to come back to this and just talk about this morning where, I'm not going to mention her name because she's a nice lady, but someone at Cohen Resnick tells me, and I tell all of my.
Yeah, he is so goddamn
use the
dumb.
term a lot. But they said, okay, you're going to have to pay a lot of taxes. And that made me feel like they're just like waiting, like we finally got him. We finally can put him in jail. And I was like, can I still run for president in jail? I found out I could. So I was like, okay, that's fine then. It'll be okay.
But if you were Jeffrey Epstein, they wouldn't touch your bank account. They would allow you to break the rules, regulations, just like JP Morgan and Chase did, just like Deutsche Bank did. So there is an issue to bring up with that. But when it comes to the race stuff, I think this is an important discussion to have because
I have to complete this thought. You guys got to.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, because I'm talking
Don't cut
about
Ye off.
finding out that they were trying to put me in prison this morning. Watch this. So
This morning.
yes. So not come to my house this morning, but I found out, okay, so they put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts. And then they said, you owe a lot of taxes. Took me like 6 hours to find out how much a lot was. They said, well, around $50 million. Now I'm going to different CFOs like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child.
You're not the most literate person on the planet.
Famous, you stopped growing at that point. I became famous.
Far from it.
And I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. And it was always like you go from one handler to the next handler to the next handler. So now I'm I get to actually learn how to run a company. I get to learn how to count. Really, I was like Pablo in a movie. It was like I didn't even.
Somewhere, Elon Musk is having the same exact conversation and is telling people the exact same thing Kanye is saying right now.
Know where to put the money, like literally making $300 million cash, but you're just
like to find out how to run a company.
We're not going to use the S word just because it's just like too passe to use it. But it's like next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties. And like, no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor, we won't say what race, and they'd be tearing down the contracts. It's all about, position. It's not about the amount of money that you have. And, to come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having to, talk about, you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows.
Guys, we're coming up on the part where he walks off and Tim Pool hasn't even really said anything to him. And he has let Kanye just like ramble on, and Kanye is getting mad at Tim Pool.
What happened to me, and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve, and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
He worked in the defense research and development in the Canadian military, essentially working on psyops in the Canadian military. This is Harley Pasternak.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look, They tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And they when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean, look at
they would have Michael Jackson
or worse, yeah.
So
look at what they did. Look at what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was her name?
No, she has stunted development because she became a star when she was a teenager. Leave Britney alone, Milo.
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message that you posted that we were talking about before.
Here's
the lobotomy.
Yeah. Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, "You shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist." I do find the idea. I do find it funny or weird, or whatever. That Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous, but. A lot of people were saying on the right specifically, don't platform them. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week. And
Ye probably needs a conservatorship.
The red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama. But see, since 1940, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm going to order. With the last of my money that's available in a different account, I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion.
But I get that.
I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat. And all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech, and that's what makes me the only American that we know that really deserves to run the country, because everyone else, your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look, and, here's what I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start
Curdy, good evening.
My opinion on it, I'm gonna disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it.
But
I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like I told the minister. Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So
allowed him.
The money. The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could. I
have no clue what he's been saying the entire time.
7 thoughts at one time. Because anything I see, I come up with like 7 answers to it and then just choose what it is. But the thing is, when I said my children, the reason why
he walks off any minute now.
Blocked, because it's like God is saying, your children are going to be okay.
Any second now.
Got money, right? God is using me. He's breaking me down, removing all of the richest person, all of this, so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now, it's like, you're not going to take...
He thinks he's Job.
You're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say, it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's gonna denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just
he
standing
just compared
there.
himself to
And
like
when
the
I found out
Holocaust
that
and
they tried to put me
MLK
in
getting
jail,
assassinated.
It was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost, but I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you. I think.
Who was they though? We can't say they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using the. I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up, and then
Have
think
the
we're not going to have a
Like,
conversation.
have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, "Here's my pain, here's my suffering." I'm going to say, "I hear you," and then he's going to say, "And it was Jewish people," and I'm going to be like, "Okay, but don't you consider?" It's like, I'm not going to do this. I
gotta
refuse.
Go, make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say.
Milo's got to go check on the baby.
What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK, because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just kind of sound like their opposition. They sound what they're kind of going against, the woke mob that's always saying white men are responsible for everything. When I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations. It cheapens a dialogue that we could have here that I was planning to talk to Ye about, specifically bringing up like, hey, let's
You want to talk about Epstein
this in a real concise way. Let's not get emotional. Let's not walk out of here. Let's actually
let me tell
control
all you
ourselves.
guys outright. I said this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism. Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is. And then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye, literally in the first 5 minutes, says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit here and you're going to walk out of the room. You're free to do so, man. But literally, I said a couple sentences about, I don't think that's fair. Did I insult the man? He seriously can't handle? He can't handle it?
He also
No, he can't handle anything, Tim.
He did, but he came back. So again, we should be able to have this conversation. What's
I
up,
do
Chris?
not think he comes back.
Yeah.
Look, man.
I am pretty sure that there is no Kanye the
why
rest
they're
of the
meeting with
interview.
Trump. I want to know what happened with the dinner, because we hear a lot of rumors about it.
I want to hear about their
And that's
2024 platform, which they were promising, which they were talking about, like they're going to be officially.
Let me explain to everybody that, unfortunate they walked out. Fine. Maybe they'll come back, whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with
Did Milo and Fuentes leave too?
The predeterminate factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable.
Because I was going to stick around for Fuentes talking to Poole, but apparently Fuentes is riding, because I didn't see Fuentes pop
Dave
up again
Chappelle made
either.
the joke about Jewish people in Hollywood, and he said, "But it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson. Doesn't mean they run the place." The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility. That means an individual of any background can be capable
Yeah,
of
sure you are, Tim. My God. Well, that was something. Wasn't as fun as cancer in the butthole, though.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the
Cow, good evening.
Every sodomite's butthole.
Yeah, Fuentes started to talk and Ye cut him off. But I thought Fuentes might stick around and say something. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Jay Leno, who returned to comedy after sustaining burns. Apparently, he hit a couple of cop cars on his way to the club where he was performing. We're going to talk about Elon Musk and him scaring away advertisers at Twitter and what staff at Twitter is calling the Big Bang, where accounts are going to be reinstated. My account has not been reinstated yet, unfortunately. I checked earlier. And then we're going to go into the outrage over the Balenciaga. Dusty Crypto, good evening. Balls, you say?
He's kicking authority in the balls.
You drop some balls on my forehead and I will kick them just like I kick authority in the balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Unless I ask for it. If you got some nice balls, maybe I want them on my forehead. I live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
You better watch out talking like that, because God will give you the cancer.
Cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get.
You're sticking your balls on people's foreheads without consent, and you'll get a cancer in the butthole.
They won't be able to sit down.
Courtesy to God, you won't be able to sit down. So, we're going to watch a rapper burn his Balenciaga shoes. We're going to find out what all the controversy is with the teddy bears. We're going to go over Twitter, all that shit and more on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol, live.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal, leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out.
Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down.
Poor sodomites and the cancer in their butthole.
He's got a fire, he's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was...
That could be a handy superpower to have. Like on a video game or something, you shoot a flame at your butthole. I think South Park might have done something like that with one of their games. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that commercial break. Hope none of you are suffering from a flame in your butthole tonight. That is the repercussions of what happens when you live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I have been banned on Twitter since 2019. Oh shit. Oh, you guys a meme, don't I? Trying to see your point. I couldn't really enjoy the Tim Pool video because I had to piss. There's a dude that did a metal song. Uses the pastor talking about the butthole. Did a metal song with it. Didn't really get to enjoy the Tim Pool thing because I had to piss really bad. And I drank all my tea, so I was also thirsty. So I wasn't high enough for that shit. But I didn't want to hit the pot because I was thirsty because I didn't have any tea left. I also needed to pee. Now, all of these things could be related. I had no tea left and I also had to pee. Coincidence? I think not. But you know what? Usually when I have to pee, I think about how I would give anything in the world to pee in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. Dan Crenshaw deserves it. This has been one of those nights. But hopefully, I will be rewarded getting through this week with my Twitter account back. I want @Mr. Justin Freakin. That's my original Twitter account. I want that account back. Twitter employees are calling Elon Musk's plan to reinstate banned accounts the Big Bang. Twitter employees are referring to plans by Elon Musk to reinstate banned accounts as the Big Bang. Shortly after reinstating former President Donald Trump's Twitter account, after asking his followers to vote on the move, Musk created a follow-up poll asking whether he should bring back other suspended accounts. Apparently, the yes one was 72.4%. Amnesty begins next week, he says. That is this week. But staff at Twitter say the plans could cause them a big headache. Employees told Platformer that it takes a lot of effort to reinstate accounts, a concern given that Twitter's total workforce has shrunk by around 3/4 and could fuel even more instability at the company. Workers said they also learned of the amnesty from Musk's tweets, not from internal communications. Twitter staff are working to reinstate tens of thousands of suspended accounts. Platformer reported this includes around 62,000 accounts with more than 10,000 followers, one of which has more than 5 million followers, and 75 of which have more than 1 million followers. Once again, gonna be a while until they get around to me with my 400 followers. As well as Trump, Musk has already reinstated the accounts of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, controversial influencer Andrew Tate, and psychologist Jordan all grifters. Business Insider used their professional titles. I'll use their true professional title, Grifter Marjorie Taylor Greene, Grifter Andrew Tate, and Grifter Jordan Peterson.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
By the way, that is from the video that Jordan Peterson made where he was upset about being booted from Twitter. Twitter users and staff, as well as advocacy groups, have expressed concerns about Musk allowing banned users to return and about wider content moderation on the platform. Activist groups have been calling on companies to stop advertising on the site, thereby cutting into the stream that accounts for around 90% of Twitter's revenue. Elon Musk not making it easy on advertisers to stick around on his platform. Really giving them a cancer of the butthole.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God.
Twitter is hemorrhaging advertisers, and new CEO Elon Musk's efforts to retain them have backfired spectacularly. The tech entrepreneur's first month as Twitter owner has chased off half of the company's top 100 advertisers, who have paused spending over concerns about content moderation and the firing of most of its ad sales team. And Musk has been unable to strong-arm them into returning. He seems to put off even those advertisers who wanted him to succeed. Twitter's ad business team has been cut so deeply that many agencies no longer have a point of contact at the company, and 4 industry insiders said they have received little or no communication in recent weeks, while others complain that ad systems aren't working properly. Musk has tried to personally call the chief executives of some brands that have pulled advertising to berate them, according to one senior industry insider. But that has backfired as some companies have decided to cut spending to the bare minimum to avoid further confrontation. It's quite unique, said a senior executive at a Big Four advertising agency. The turmoil, the damage, nothing of this magnitude has happened before. Never. Musk's management, along with his near-daily controversial tweets, have left him with only one option to save the company he paid $44 billion to purchase, and a deal finalized on October 27th, according to industry insiders. Musk's best chance of bringing advertisers back to Twitter is to appoint a new CEO, according to Darren Savage, the chief strategy officer at Tribal Worldwide, particularly one who understands what Twitter is. As the credibility with as much time as Elon spends on Twitter, you would think he would know what it is. Musk's best chance of bringing advertisers back to Twitter is to appoint a new CEO, particularly one who understands what Twitter is, has the credibility with advertisers and users, and is then left alone to do their job. But Elon totally bought Twitter to do this to it. This is what Elon wanted, wasn't it? Take a little adjustment here. Hold on. There we go. Check. That looks right. I'm still fucking with my audio. There's probably nothing wrong with it.
I was going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to.
And he sounds really excited about it. Like he wants God to put a cancer in the butthole of people that he disagrees with. It would be hilarious if we found out this motherfucker died of colon cancer. Oh, shit. Right-wingers are outraged about a brand I didn't even know existed until they created their outrage. Apparently it's some left-wing woke company trying to push their sexual anarchy on us. We're going to the Daily Wire, but we're probably going to watch a clip from The View here, who apparently took a picture with John Stamos. Or maybe, or is that Cody from Some More News? The View took a picture with Cody from Some More News. Cody Johnston. Didn't know The View was a guest on Cody's Shody. The View hosts admit they can't even show the Balenciaga fetished theme ad with children. View co-hosts admitted they couldn't even show the Balenciaga fetish-themed ad on their show on Monday during a discussion about how the fashion house's marketing campaign featuring children holding teddy bears that were wearing bondage gear. What's up, Battle Opossum? During a panel discussion on the ABC daytime talk show, Joey Bearer talked about how the fashion company is under fire. I showed the ad. Hold on. This is what we want. Am I sick? No. I don't think so.
Posh is under fire for a controversial fetish-themed ad campaign featuring child models. Okay? Balenciaga blames the production company for the ad.
I don't think so.
They have a kid posing with S&M stuff. But the set designer says Balenciaga executives were on the set. They knew what was happening. Are they taking a page from Trump's notebook and say, I didn't know nothing. I know nothing. I say nothing. What's going on here?
I found this ad campaign particularly distasteful in this moment. So there's growing anti-LGBTQ sentiment
Like,
now.
we watched the ad.
How it's being framed is as portraying, trans people as groomers. This is a term you'll hear on the far right. They're groomers. This is where you get the anti-drag queen stuff that we're seeing. So Balenciaga played right into their hands by having kids in a sexualized manner carrying something that represents, sex acts. I think it was a really bad misstep at a moment where it's just kind of a dangerous time to even give credence to those kind of insane takes.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even show the picture because it's so distasteful.
I'm trying to find it right now.
It's like Balenciaga lately. I mean, their stuff is just ugly. I mean, the bag that their little girl is holding is ugly. Do you remember when Kim K was dressed in Balenciaga for the Met Gala? Look at that! Oh, she looked like a bat or something. So they are. I don't know.
I don't talk about Kim now.
I don't know if their intent is
Kanye come after you.
And draw attention to the issues.
He got really upset about whatever Trump said about her.
How they can sue somebody when they designed a bag for their holiday season. The bag is shaped like a teddy bear wearing bondage gear.
But is it? It's just leather straps.
It takes hundreds of people in a fashion house like Balenciaga to approve a design, to approve an ad campaign. So I'm sorry, you guys. I know you're trying to cover your ass, but you got bigger problems than you got to look inside your house because you've got.
I'm trying to find the video again, but I'm apparently going to have to go with the pictures.
And anyone who's worked in a company, it doesn't take a fashion house. Any company you work in, we all complain of bureaucracy and how many nets and loops and how many eyeballs and lawyers and standards have to look at every single thing. There is no world in which that was not seen on the front end, on the set. Seen to approve the pictures.
They like the
seen
ugly
to,
stuff.
Yes.
So it's like been happening over and over again. They had a garbage bag shaped like a trash bag, and it was $1,790.
Were they the potato chip bag too?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think they're the ones that.
So these are the bears. Are those bondage bears? I don't see the outfits as inherently like being bondage outfits. Maybe this one, maybe that is a little right said Fred over here. What's creepy about it? I don't understand. Yeah, they look like they're goth kids at a Hot Topic or some shit, yeah. YMCA bear and Harley Quinn bear. Like, To me, it's weird that, first of all, I'd never even heard of this brand. And the fact that I'd never heard of it before and this campaign has caused me to hear of it makes me think they did this on purpose. Because, like, as I've pointed out many times, companies do this outrage marketing where they want to cause the right-wingers to get their nuts all in a bundle over some stupid shit, and then people like me have to talk about it. I don't remember Lizzo singing about it. Apparently a lot of people sing about it. So I've got a rap video from our friend Bryson Gray. Bryson Gray, the MAGA rapper that came onto the show not that long ago and was telling us about God and shit. He made a song about Balenciaga. I don't even know if I'm saying the name of the company right. He made a song about him while burning his shoes that he apparently owned. This bougie ass brand that I would have never even heard of had it not been for these dumbass right wingers. He actually bought their fucking products. Because of course he did. Is this a MAGA Twitch channel?
Come on, man.
This channel believes in one thing and one thing only, and that is whatever gets me to the point to where I can piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. That's the only thing this channel is about. This is MAGA rapper Bryson Gray. Yeah, guy on a Buffalo. He was on a month, 2 months ago. I don't remember exactly when. I kept making jokes hitting on him, and he got really uncomfortable and stormed off.
Celebrities are controlled. You don't see no celebrities talking about the Balenciaga situation.
We're gonna watch this dumb fuck burn shoes. How much did he pay for? How much those shoes cost?
In any way, because they're controlled by the people who really influence the world.
I've heard of Bo of the Fifth Column. I don't watch other people that do the same thing I do.
Brands keep going woke, they gon' lose dollars through away Nike, and now I burn Balenciaga.
Yeah, burn the shit that you paid $1,000 for. Oh, $300. Okay. I have no concept of what rich people shit costs.
They pushing LGBT on children movie screens. They pushing pedophilia, they sneak it in the scenes. And all these
are they?
Balenciaga got caught, now that they fall. I can't support wickedness, I walk a high talk.
I don't understand how you can get caught when they purposely made an ad.
Sexuality, so I exit. We hit them in their pockets, they gon' get the message. It's time to build our own up like it's Tetris. Epstein Island, can I see the guest list? We gotta protect the children because they precious. If we don't fight,
buddy, as we've learned time and time again, we probably need to be protecting the children from people like you. However, after talking to him, I think he might be like asexual or some shit. Though he apparently had a girlfriend.
Now I burn Balenciaga. They keep coming for our kids, now we need to follow. Designer brands that they hide, I know hell is hotter through away Nike. And now I burn Balenciaga. Balenciaga, let me get my 1400 bag. 100 by the Teddy.
1400.
You go broke, yeah, that's big fat. Now you can't blame Kanye, so you big man.
Buddy, you're saying go woke, go broke. You're the one buying their shit. And that's how goddamn stupid these people are. Like, this is all fads and virtue signaling.
Exploiting all the children, selling them for bands. Are you broke? Now they still blaming Ray J. But me, I'm blaming Kim K. I pray to God every day when I wake up. Every undercover pedo, they gon' have to face us. They keep trying to cancel me. I don't care nada. I see days.
Who's trying to cancel you?
Brands keep going woke, they gon' lose dollars through away.
I've played your videos on my show multiple times.
They keep coming for
had you on as a guest.
brands that they hide, I know hell is hotter through away Nike. And now I burn Balenciaga.
Chin strap loser. Ain't no Action Bronson, that's for sure. Oh, I'm sure the company is really tore up about the fact that you are burning their products that you already paid for. $1,400 apparently. The fact that you paid $1,400 for a pair of shoes and then would burn them just because of a stupid ad that you're jumping on a fad. You're jumping on a right-wing fad to boycott this company over fucking teddy bears. I'm still not even sure that I find anything wrong with these teddy bears. I think I had toys as kids that were far more problematic. Toys as a kid that were far more problematic than this. I'm not sure what's wrong with them. A leather strap is not inherently sexual. A mesh shirt is not inherently sexual. And the fact that you fucks look at that and see something sexual makes me think there's something wrong with you.
Come on, man.
But they spent $1,400 on a pair of shoes and then burnt them to virtue signal on the internet. Right-wingers are morons. Dumbest fucks walking the planet. I wouldn't think the kids see it as... Do those kids look like they're getting ready to go to the fucking orgy? If you do, kiddos, use protection.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Don't fuck the kids. Why do I have to keep saying this shit on my show? Why do I have to make clear to my audience not to fuck the dogs or the kids? Fucking creeps. Oh, god damn. That guy's basically a gift. Oh, gee. From dressing like you're going to the dungeon to dressing in all denim, let's talk about Jay Leno. Jay Leno, hospitalized. Oh my god, yes, it's a Jim Cornette line. It's your dog to fuck, I'm just holding the head. He uses that phrase constantly. And with ExpressVPN, you can look up the bestiality laws in Japan. What the fuck? Jay Leno, who just got out of the hospital after receiving, second or third degree burns, is on his way to his first gig since a fire accident and hit two cop cars. Or no, hit the same. I'm sorry, I was wrong on this. Apparently, he hit the same cop car twice. I think this is video of him arriving at his gig.
Ooh. Hit the cop car.
Oh, we actually got to see him hit the cop car. Yay. Was that Bill Gates?
You can just go. We'll figure it out later.
It's Jay Leno. We'll figure it out.
Tight squeeze. He's going to back it in. Let him back it in.
I want him charged with destruction of government property, goddammit. Wait a minute, this is the car guy and he can't parallel park?
Jay, you gotta cut it more, Jay. You gotta cut it more.
Yeah, he's driving a fucking Tesla.
Just a tire, right? I think it was just a tire. Yeah.
Makes a funny noise when it backs up. Wait a minute, this is the car guy, Jay Leno. Known for his classic car collection, drives a Tesla. Interesting. I'm let down, Jay.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Jay, how's it feel to be back on stage, Jay?
Oh, the Elephant Man is here.
How's it feel to be back?
I'm not on stage yet. I just got here.
Well, I mean, you're coming out though.
We'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens.
Was there ever?
We'll see what happens.
Nervous about coming out, Jay?
No, stay away from the flaming hot Doritos. That's what caused all this.
Listen,
you rubbed your tire?
Yeah, I think it was just his tire.
Give him some money, Jay.
Jay, look.
Are we excited? Are we nervous?
How much you worth? $500 million?
You looking good?
Let me see what I did. Yeah, see what kind of damage. It didn't do anything. Oh, nothing. I mean, tire on tire.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, good. It didn't do anything to Jay Leno's Tesla. He hit a police vehicle multiple times as he pulled up to his comeback gig. More than 2 weeks after suffering third-degree burns. Radica. Good evening. Thank you for being a freaking follower. I don't know that I've ever told you that. We're so glad to have you here. You just missed Jay Leno hitting a cop car multiple times. A 72-year-old comic and classic car aficionado hit the tire of a police Jeep with the back tire of his Tesla as he attempted to park in front of the Hermosa Beach Comedy Club. I'm just the whole thing. Then inexplicably backed up and collided with the car a second time. He can't parallel park. He drives a Tesla. Is this dude really a car guy? Yeah, if any of us had hit a cop car, they would have beat the fuck out of us. Apparently, Tesla is testing out or beta testing a new self-driving software. Been a rash of crashes associated with it. So good on them. So, one of the jokes that he told on stage was, "We got 2 shows tonight: regular and extra crispy." Ah ha ha ha. Good on Jay. All right, so if we've got some new people here tonight, this is how we've been winding down the show. Dishes conspiracy earlier on. We do the fun shit and whatever heartwarming stories I do. Very very rarely do you get heartwarming stories. One of the things that we did tonight on this show was talk about a congressman who died of colon cancer, which then resulted in me playing this video how many times? 20?
Butthole. God's gonna put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a...
So that's the kind of show we do here. But at the end of the show, I like to send the people home happy. I like to give them some feel-good story. A little cuddly kitty or a puppy or something. It's not even a cuddly animal all the time. But we usually do animal videos. I do not have a video for you tonight. I got this story. A cat found in checked luggage made it home for Thanksgiving. He got to sit at the table too. Look at him. He's got a glass of wine and everything. RB, are you trying to wine and dine this cat, motherfucker? I've already told you, don't fuck the animals. A TSA officer was shocked to find a family's pet stowed inside a checked bag last week at JFK International Airport. According to a spokesperson for TSA, the orange cat named Smells was spotted after the luggage went through the X-ray unit. So there's the picture of the cat in the luggage as it goes through X-ray. This is definitely a cat. Smells, buddy, how'd you get in there? The traveler said the cat belonged to someone else in his household, TSA explained in a tweet. TSA spokesperson Lisa Farbstein said Smells was returned safely and enjoyed Thanksgiving at its home in Brooklyn. Apparently, Smells was planning to chase after a big mouse he heard was running around Disney World. I love that the story ends with, if you have questions about what you can bring, TSA has a list of items you can pack and carry on in checked baggage. Were any of you unaware that you probably shouldn't bring a cat on your checked baggage? Smells was wanting to go with him to Disney World, but Smells got to come home in time. Looks like he's having some turkey, some mashed potatoes and gravy, some green bean casserole. I hope those are all your favorites, buddy. I wonder if he just got in the bag because, you know, if it fits, it sits. Or was somebody trying to stow him away and take him with him to Disney World? I have questions. Which joke was bad? All of them have been bad, haven't they? Clinically. All of them have been bad tonight. Don't make me do it again. Don't make me do it again.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole.
Did the cat, like, you... I could go either way on this. Like, I could see the cat totally sneaking in the bag. Or I could see somebody wanting to stow the cat away. Because they'd miss their kitty. I'd miss my kitty. I'd hope the cat just... in the butthole. Tones. I don't know how long you've been here. You could have been creeping. But we did a story about a congressperson dying of butt cancer. And I've just been playing it all night. I apologize. I'm a horrible person. But that may be what you guys come for. Very off-color jokes from a woke moralist. Oh, hold on. I'm not on the screen. I saw that.
You live in sexual anarchy?
If you are watching on Twitch, you are heading over to Producer Dave. I do believe it's down ballot going on tonight. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin, and we will probably be back at 7 a.m. for Prime Minister's questions and C-SPAN call-in, so look out for that. If I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol Live.